What's up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. We have a very special guest today, but first, as always, we have my man and co-host, Logan Hyder of Cinema 83.
You almost got it. You almost got all the way through.
I can't go one episode without fucking up the intro.
All the way through.
God, it's habitual.
But what's good? Hello, everyone.
But yeah, so welcome. And also, we got my man Shane Mackinnon in the house.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Shane came in from South Carolina. He flew in just a couple hours ago.
I know.
Which is
Am I
crazy,
your first
by the way.
fly-in guest?
Yeah, you're a first flying guy. That's
You're the by far the geographically furthest away, I think.
yeah, you and Brett. Brett came up from Florida. But,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but as far as like
Brett was coming up to do Moot this weekend, right?
Yeah, he was up for Moot weekend. So you're here. Shane just want to be on the podcast. I was like,
that's awesome.
fuck yeah, he's flying back tomorrow morning. Quick
so
trip.
cool.
But
So
hey,
cool.
we're here to make some magic happen. Obviously, build this relationship and see how we can work together moving forward. But after talking to him a little bit, he's got quite the fucking story, Logan. It's pretty intense.
I'm excited to hear it. And
So-
I appreciate you coming. This is really cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for making the trip. Just introduce yourself real quick. Say who you are, what you do, and we'll get started.
Well, I'm Shane. I'm just a guy. I live life. I own a company with my wife. I have 2 wonderful kids. And that's it. I
Hell
just go
yeah.
as hard as I can.
Just go as hard as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem like you've always done that in some fashion. So from what I've gathered, it seems like you've always gone hard as part of your life. So we're going to dive right into it. You ready to roll?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, dude.
Just get a little closer to the mic for me. But other than that, you're good.
Yeah, you get used to it. So to start, where are you from? Tell us about your family. Like, where are you from? Like when your childhood, tell us about your family and stuff. And like, let's start there. Your background.
Okay. I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts,
Okay.
to my mother, who was 15 when she had me.
The Great North.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
15.
15.
Wow.
She's a baby.
That's young.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then my father was 24, so he was forced to marry her. Otherwise, he'd go to prison for statutory.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. I didn't even think about that.
He was active military. So then we moved to Barstow. Lived in Barstow till I was 4 on a military base or housing.
Okay.
And then moved back to Massachusetts. And I grew up there, lived in my grandmother's house with my half-sister and her sister and my mother and my grandmother.
So it was a pretty rough experience in those early years.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it, though.
Yeah, because you had like an accident or something. Like what happened there?
So when I was in the 4th grade, I think I was like 10. We were driving back from Walmart with my youngest brother in the back seat, and my mom turned on a in-city highway, turned to go into a street that was cross traffic, and a guy hit us doing 85. Damn. Hit directly in the front passenger where I was. Had to use like the jaws of life to take me out. I didn't wake up, remember anything. I was in the hospital for a really long time, but I lost my whole memory.
So you lost like 10 years of memory.
Yep. It comes back a little bit now. I think the inflammation's finally down.
Yeah. But it's like a lifelong thing. I mean,
Yeah,
once
it's
you
gone.
fuck up your brain, like there's always some
That's
issues.
it. I think I black out most of my life. Like I can't remember anything. I have to like hardly think about things that are pre-high school.
Really?
So you said that you lost 10 years of memory from that.
Yeah. So
So how old were you then?
10.
So you basically, none of that you remember.
All of it's gone. And then I have like flashbacks now, but I don't know if they're like, they're images my mind created from
Yeah.
stories people told me.
Because you've heard, like, I've heard before that, like, your memories before, like, 5 or, like, stories you've been told.
Yeah.
And your mind's just, like, created it. Like, you were there. I mean, you were there, but you don't actually remember it. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, so
Still, you got your fucking memory wiped. So that's pretty bad.
that is pretty
I mean, you got to
crazy.
get taken out with the jaws of life. That's some shit.
Yeah, that is nice.
cars, man, they're dangerous.
Yeah. They can be.
Damn near every other fucking big guest we have on here has almost died in a car wreck. Makes me terrified to drive, honestly.
Well, moving forward from there, man. I mean, I know you got a little bit older because you told me a little bit of the background, so I'm just kind of keeping on track. But you
Yeah.
got a little bit older, got in some trouble. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So after my car accident, we got like a little payout. My mom bought a house with like put a down payment on the house from like the insurance company for like, cause I got a payout
Okay.
for like getting injured, whatever. So then my 2 younger brothers and my mom and I lived there for a little bit. And then like, I think I started stealing like when I was really young.
Yeah.
I think before I was always been like a thief.
He was like, I'd tell you about it, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like, that's nice. Mine.
Slap. But I remember in that we call it the White House, the house like we grew up in when I was in middle school. But yeah, I just started stealing all the time. Like me and a couple of my friends, we'd like go through the neighborhood, other neighborhoods. We used to like ride our bike to like the surrounding cities and like just like rob things.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was adventurous.
Very ambitious.
And rolling up and on their bicycles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, give me your shit.
A little badass 11-year-old. But we used to like break into houses, break into cars, and just take people's things. Yeah.
Damn.
And then when I was 12, I think was the first time I was brought into the police station for a B&E.
Damn.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
12 years old.
Good, they let me go.
They're like, you're 12.
Yeah, they're like couldn't
12.
Yeah, they couldn't prove it. They're like the lady said you could return everything, and she won't charge any prizes. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't take anything, but like because they didn't find any of the goods, so I never got in trouble.
Hey, it's like they say, just keep your mouth shut.
That's right.
And no one gets hurt.
I think my Cody turned in stuff and he got in trouble. That's why I got called in. Yeah.
Interesting.
So 12 years old, first B&E.
Nice, dude. Good track record so
First
far.
getting in trouble for
First
B&E.
getting in trouble.
Yeah. Never got caught with the rest.
I'm not proud of what I did necessarily, but you know, it's just my life.
You learn from it, right?
Yeah.
So you kept, after that, were you still doing that?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
till long time. Till I went to prison. I guess.
We'll get there.
Till last week.
Do you still have a relationship with your parents, or?
I talked to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. My dad was like not really in my life. He came back in when I was like 15 maybe, and then he went to prison when I was 17. So
It's still there.
no, he got out.
Oh, you just like, but you just kind of cut that string pretty much.
Yeah, it just naturally died when he went away. It wasn't really there to begin with, I guess.
So it's kind of pointless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, as long as it does it like buck with you at all, or
No, I have like the best relationship with losing people.
really?
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I've talked about this with somebody recently, man. It's just like, it doesn't matter because a lot of people have this idea, especially, they got all their relatives, right? For example, they got family, and a lot of family can be toxic for you. And they're like, well, they're family. You got to be around family. You got to spend time with family. And I'm like, I have no problem cutting out people, whether they're blood or whatever. If they're toxic to my life, then I'm just going to like eliminate them. And I have no issue doing it. It doesn't upset me because like a lot of my family, like my brothers I told you about, like I chose them. You can choose who your fucking family is. And so it's just all comes down to your choice. Like if someone's just not worth having there and it doesn't benefit you any, then why would you put in the effort?
yeah.
You
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I believe in chosen family.
Yep, I agree, man. Like blood's great and all, and like I'm very fortunate to have like the immediate family I do, and like we're very close, and like my family's like they're like my best friends, and I got some really good relatives and stuff. But like most of the people in my life that are like my true family, like I've chosen to be there, and I'm very grateful for it. So
Better way to live.
yeah, exactly.
My blood family is super toxic.
Yeah,
Yeah, just awful.
So you're just like fuck this.
Yeah, I don't talk to like my half sister or my grandmother or her sister. I barely talk to my mother.
But think of how many people force themselves to have a relationship with those people because they're blood.
It's so sad.
It is, because it's like, dude, you realize how much life they're sucking out of you or how much they may be holding you back from living your dreams or doing anything with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you put so much effort of your life into those individuals and it just runs you down.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that though. Like stick around.
I think it's just like that's what you're
Social
supposed to
construct.
do.
It's one of the
it's a
agreements that we make.
it's one of the agreements, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, family before everything. And I'm like, man, my family, I'm not saying me, but man, your family sucks. Like, no, are you sure about this? But yeah, man. Well, hey, you cut this string, but you're better off, right?
Oh, yeah.
Better off.
Absolutely.
You said you had siblings, right?
I have two younger brothers and my half sister.
You close to them or
No.
no?
No. I think we all have different parents, so maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. I think about that a lot. But I grew up pretty close to them. When I went away, like I used to be their dad. My youngest brother used to call me dad.
Oh, really?
Make me stuff for like father's gifts and
So you were like the man of the house.
yeah.
Okay.
I was 9 when he was born, so I
Yeah,
took
so
care
you're
of him.
significantly older, yeah.
Yeah.
I have two half sisters that are, I'm like 6-ish years older than, 6 and 7 years older than, something like that. So I feel you on that one.
It's just different. Like I think
It is
the age
different.
gap.
It is, yeah. The age gap is weird too, and it's like a whole long story. But basically, certain people had always told me, like growing up, that like they would accentuate the fact that they are my half sisters.
They would.
No, like other people.
Oh, yeah.
Like on my dad's side of the family, for example, would basically make sure that I understood like these are your mom's children by another person or your half sisters. And my mom used to get really offended by that. And whenever I would say something to her about it, she would just get very upset about it. And she's always like tried to, I guess, drill it in that they are my sisters. And as we've gotten older, our differences have really started to like come out because we don't have the same dad and we don't have the same, and these kind of things. And a lot of the best parts of me, a lot of the worst parts of me comes from their dad, who was my stepdad for a long time. And a lot of the best parts of me come from my dad. So we're really starting to do this number. And it's not that I don't care, but it's like, they are like, I don't know, they are my half sisters. Like they're not my full, I don't mean to sound mean by that, but it's like we have like an odd dynamic for a reason because we don't have the same dad. And because, I hate their dad. And all these things, and they do too. But the half sibling thing is interesting. I guess is my point. It's very interesting, and I don't think you can force to y'all's point about just family in general. I think it's real difficult to like force somebody to be like to like respect that. I guess like my mom wanted me to was trying to force me into respecting that. She's like, that's your sister. And I was like, oh, I kind of look at it like this, and so it can be difficult for sure.
Did you grow up with them?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? In the same household?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you leave to go hang out with your dad at times?
Yeah, so my dad, he lives in East Tennessee.
Yeah.
So a lot of times whenever I was growing up, I would see him every 2 weeks for the most part. And then like over the summer, I would go for like a week, and then holidays and this kind of thing. But I didn't see him that much. But again, not only are they six-ish years younger than me, but they're also both girls. So they're like 20 and 21-year-old girls, and I'm like a 27-year-old guy, but that's how it's always been. Like, I'll be in high school, and they're like barely in middle school, and then we're fighting all the time. My mom's like all upset about it. I'm like, we're not, like, how the fuck would you think we were going to get along? Like, she's 12, I'm 19. Yeah. She's 21, I'm 27. Like, it's not, you shouldn't be forced into those scenarios, I don't think.
Nope. I agree.
And it doesn't make it better.
It doesn't.
Like if my mom, if somebody tries to force somebody to be close to somebody, you can't just force that and just be like, oh yeah, we ended up being okay. It's like, no, you probably don't want to be around. Like you probably resent that.
Yeah.
If it tries to be forced on you. So anyways, I don't know how I got on that, but
I agree. Choose them.
But you were in high school.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we were at.
Well, no, you're saying like he was 12 and he was, went to the police.
Yep.
And then when did you get into the gym?
When I was 12, actually.
Damn. See, that's early.
Yeah. I started working out when I don't remember, but I asked my mom, she told me I started working out when I was 12. I started hardcore fitness training when I was 15.
Okay.
2004. Yeah, when I was 15. It was when I was like hardcore every single day, 3 hours a day, didn't miss a beat.
Tell us about that 15-year-old you, like, your experience then.
Oh, yeah. So 15 years old. This was the summer of 2004. I'm 33 now. I got arrested with 10 felonies and 3 misdemeanors.
That's it. That's it.
Just 10.
Hey, it's only what you can catch me for.
You didn't even get to a dozen, dude. That's.
I know. It's fucking sad.
What?
So when you were 15, that happened. You said though.
Yeah, I was 15 when that happened. Like fully arrested. They came, flipped my house. My house had been searched like 3 or 4 times prior than that. They'd come with a search warrant, flip it, never find anything. A year before that, me and my buddy got busted. There happened to be some guns that went missing in a house that was broken into that my friend ended up getting in trouble for. So police came to my house, flipped it upside down, and thankfully I got to walk away with that because my buddy took the hit. But the next year, my Cody's completely wrapped it on me. They didn't get in any trouble. Police came to my house, found everything. We stole a bunch of dirt bikes, a Rolex, but like a TV, whatever, all this other stuff. But anyway.
So this was all still from stealing?
Yeah. Definitely still stealing. But yeah, they came in, found everything, took me out in handcuffs right in front of like my whole family. And I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. Because it was like the first time that I think I was arrested from my home.
Now you're just stealing hearts through romance novels.
Yeah, that's my goal.
He does romance novels too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not the prettiest one anymore.
Damn it.
All right. You can still be the prettiest.
Just turn his camera off.
So that happened. Ended up, thankfully, my grandmother, who I don't talk to anymore, but really believed that I didn't do it because I'm a wonderful liar. And she got a lawyer for me, and I passed a lie detector test. And we brought it to the judge. And the judge was like, "There's no way he didn't steal all this
we
stuff."
fucking found the stuff.
But
What
like the guy, the guy who did it was the guy who trains the state police. And he was like, I'm telling you, this lie detector test, he didn't do it. And the judge was like, okay, we won't give him a felony, but he's got to pay restitution. So I was on probation until I paid all my restitution, which was like, and I had to do 1,000 hours of community service.
It's a lot of hours.
But 10 felonies, though. That's not too bad.
Yeah. After I got arrested for that, my mother was like, you're going to the gym every day because she used to work out. And I was like, that's when I fell in love with fitness.
Nice. And then you were hooked.
So did that help you at that point with the stealing stuff, or did you, like the gym, did that kind of?
No.
Gotcha. Was that why she wanted you to do it though? Like keep you out of trouble or something?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Just like to keep me in her sight. Cause like I during the summer, I was with my mom worked full time. So I'd watch my brothers, and when she'd get out of work, we'd go to the gym. They'd go to daycare. I'd work out.
Then you're just like, hey, I'm going to keep stealing shit and getting jacked.
And then that's right.
Same time.
That's right. I'm going to sneak out of the house at night, stay up all night, steal
be a
things.
bigger burglar.
Yeah.
So where do you think that came from? Your desire for stealing?
I just grew up real poor, I think. I grew up poor, but not just financially poor, like poor minded. So like I was taught that like people with money are bad. You got like you don't get things unless you take them. Right. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take whatever I want.
Like for them to have that means that they took it from me.
Right. Like people say if like the people who are wealthy go and like hurt people to get wealthy, basically. I'm like, I'm gonna hurt people then.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So you were that was one of those things. You were just kind of taught that was conditional.
I think that's how
you weren't told to
right
steal, but you were also like that was your perception of it. Like, well, fuck, I guess I just got to take whatever I want then.
Yeah, the only way you get to the top is stepping on people.
Damn. There's definitely people that think that. It's unfortunate.
It's poor people think that.
Yes, they do.
But obviously that mindset's changed. We'll get there. Yeah. We'll get there. So, and then did you get kicked out of school? Like how?
Yeah. So that was my freshman year, or maybe it was, my freshman year. Yeah, I got kicked out of my high school.
Because of that?
Because of a bunch of different things. But yeah, that was one of it. I only went to my freshman year 23 days.
Damn.
Nice.
So they're like, you can't come back, more or less.
Almost a month.
Yeah, I was there.
Even in 3 weeks out of the whole fucking year. But yeah, what
I'm really gifted at predicting things, so I'd just go on test days. I'd pass. I'd had like really good grades, but I got an I for incomplete because I just never showed up. School's boring, and I don't really like groups of people. So
you didn't play sports or anything?
Absolutely not.
You just did the gym.
Couldn't exactly, stay on a team.
Yeah,
when
true.
You're only in school 23 days of the year.
This dude just shows up to the games and kicks ass, but he doesn't do any practices. What the fuck is going on?
I wish I was that talented.
And so you had to go to different school and stuff like that, and just I don't know.
Yeah, I got sent to like an alternative school where they put people that just don't pass. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
but it was really good. I enjoyed it.
You did?
Yeah, it was like a school of misfits. They don't teach you anything. It's basically like babysitting, but you get to half the school is academics, like half the day, and the other half a day is a craft. So you could do like automotive, landscaping.
It's actually smart.
Yeah, that's where they put kids who they don't think will be like intellectuals.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's not going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, they're like, we got to teach you how to do something so you're not causing trouble.
Yeah, you got to be somewhat of a productive member of society. So, and did some of your buddies go there?
No, just me.
Just
I was
you.
the worst of everybody.
Hell, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, dude.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with it. I mean, you like I said, you learn from these things, and we're going to get there. But moving forward with that, so you had all the felonies, you're raising hell, getting thrown in different schools. Okay, moving past that, 17 years old. What kind of tell us about that life at that time?
By the time I was 17, I was in the gym for like 2 years. I was still stealing, but not as much.
Yeah.
I had like a normal job, not normal, but normal for a teenager. About 1,000 hours of community service I had to do. I volunteered at like a Boys and Girls Club. I don't know if you guys have them down here, but
yeah, they have.
It's like a place basically where kids with working parents who are usually in trouble go to hang out after school.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that down here, but it was like that where I grew up.
It's like a mentor program, right?
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club.
Kind of.
I've heard of it. Yeah. And then they have programs like that too, but
yeah, mostly it's like government funded children on like welfare.
So you just volunteered there, just to help out? Or?
Yeah. My brothers actually went there because my mom didn't make enough money. So like they were government funded. So they'd go there after school.
Just keep an eye on them.
Yeah. So so they let me volunteer there. I did my 1,000 hours. And after that, they employed me.
Were your brothers getting in trouble and shit?
Nope, just me. I always like consider myself like the sacrifice. Like I would do things so everyone else didn't have to. So like I always got them stuff. Like I'd get money from stealing and then give it to them. Or like I'd steal like PlayStations and stuff so they could play games and like have it at their house. But
You're looking out for the siblings.
yeah,
Looking out for the siblings.
selfishly also.
Fucking Robin Hood.
I want to play that PlayStation. I fucking stole it.
Pull over. I'll steal another one.
Move. Dude, that's crazy as shit, man. I think about myself at that age, man. It was just totally different.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I like 17 years old or even 15. You know, we just moved to North Carolina and I was just like, I was new and I'm just getting in the, you know, trying to get on the football team there and acquaint myself with everybody else. And I think it's crazy. The craziest it got is I would just party. You know, I drank and fucking smoke some weed and stuff. But that was about it. And I was just worried about girls and football.
It's the better life.
I'd get by with like my grades, just like nice C average, you know, because I thought school was boring and ridiculous anyways. Just the education system. Don't get me started. I don't agree with it in a lot of senses, but yeah, so I was in a totally different world then. You know, I'm pretty sure I probably knew some people that were into similar shit as you for sure. But damn, I get into some trouble, but I just mostly kept my nose clean somehow. But I was just like, I guess a typical high school football player.
I mean, that also be where you grew up. When I grew up, my city was the 7th worst city in the country for crime rate per population. I think it was very natural. Like we had the highest teen pregnancy rate, murder rate. So
yeah.
A lot of drugs, a lot of violence.
All the bad things, yeah.
Yeah.
Where was this again?
Springfield, Massachusetts.
Gotcha.
Yep, in like the early 2000s.
Damn, dude. That's just crazy, man.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
And I think the number one predictor for like crime is a fatherless home, so that makes a lot more sense.
We were just talking about that. Me and
It's a good point. It's true.
Me and one of my buddies just on Sunday we were talking about that. We were talking about how like if you're born into a fatherless home, it's like a fucking 60% chance you're gonna live in poverty or something like that. It's like the numbers are staggering. Like if it's not a nuclear home.
Yeah, nuclear home. Yeah, that's the thing. A nuclear home is a home with
Two parents and
yeah, like, yeah, everybody's under one roof. But actually, I think there's only like 20% of homes in the country are nuclear households.
That's right.
I might be lower than that. I'll have to look up the statistics. But it's heartbreaking.
It's a big issue.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I hate that people just force marriage. They force things, you know, and they just fucking sleep around, have kids with whoever. They just don't think things through like that, or they don't commit. I don't know. People just aren't able to prioritize that. And because of it, it fucks a lot of kids up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they grow up in such a harsh environment and, you know, that kids need fathers, you know, and I hate that like there's this big uprising against like men and testosterone and masculinity. And it's like, well, without that, that's why we're having the issues we are, you know what I'm saying? Like without a masculine figure in the household, right? There's no authority like that. And I mean, not to say that women, you know, the moms can't give authority, but you get what I'm saying. Like you need that balance, you need that. And so I don't know. It's just a big part. It's a big issue nowadays, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sad.
I'm very fortunate. I'm having a child with the woman I love, you know, and I'm going to be there forever. And, you know, like we get to raise our kid in like the best environment possible. And like, fortunately I was raised in that environment. I got too many friends that weren't, you know, and it's heartbreaking, but I've always recognized that like, damn, I'm pretty fortunate when it comes to a lot of people around me. So that's why I have such a good relationship with my family. Cause I appreciate that so much. Cause it's rare.
It is rare.
Rare as fuck.
Yeah. I only knew like 2 people who had 2 parents growing up.
Damn.
God dang.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I mean, I don't know why I'm saying it like that. I mean, I had a step parent, but my mom was twice divorced and et cetera. So guess I'm there too.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's what
I was going to say too, my dad always said, which I really like this about raising like children, boys in particular. He said that like, how did he say? He said a woman can only teach a boy how to be a man from a woman's perspective.
That's fair. I was raised by all women, and look what I was doing. So, no offense to all them single moms out there. Y'all are great.
You know, and, you know, a lot of them are doing.
it's true though.
They're doing their best though.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like
well, it's not their fault. Like, and it makes sense though, and it's not a bad thing on a woman that you can't teach a man how to be a man from a man's perspective because you're not a fucking man. It's not bad. It just is what it is. So if you're missing that, then you see like, you know, like I think about certain people in my family, and I think like, well, no wonder that they're shitheads because like no one ever told them anything different.
yeah.
I mean, and if you've never been shown a different way. And not only that, you have been shown this way, which is really bad. And, you know, and it's funny, like you see kids that will end up like their parents without even, seems like almost accidentally. Like it almost seems like they want to avoid being like that person. And somehow they still ended up like the phrase, you always become your father no matter what. Like if you tried to not be him, it makes you more like him. Somehow it's like there's a whole thing there. But But yeah, you look at the couple people I'm thinking about off the top of my head in particular. It's like their father was gone, prison, whole 9 yards. He just was not just absentee, just wasn't there at all. And then he randomly came back in, and he's a drug addict, and he's got kids by a bunch of different people. And now you look at his children, which are my cousins, kids by a bunch of different people, alcohol, whole 9 yards. And
it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, that's mostly hereditary.
Yeah.
That's what this tattoo's for. It's like, it's an infinity symbol, and it's a chain, and I broke it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too. That is cool.
It's good symbolism there, dude.
So that's why it's important, I guess, to have, like a good role model or a good.
Yeah, I feel like men respond to energy. Like when I see another, like a real man, I'm like, oh, I can feel your authority. You can say absolutely nothing. I can feel you.
Yeah.
Versus like you being like a 10 or 8 or 12-year-old boy, your energy is probably over dominating your mother's.
Yeah.
Just naturally. You're not even trying,
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. And then when I feel a man with less energy, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You're
At least that's just me. That's what I think. Like
No,
I can stand
You're a
up.
simp.
Oh, you're just a simp.
Yeah. Like my son, he can, like, no matter where I am in the house, he knows where I'm going to be. I cannot make a noise, and he just knows. He walks directly to me and like will call to me.
That's crazy.
I feel like because he feels me.
Yeah. That makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh no, you walk in a room and you're just like, I'm sure you walk in a room and you feel like maybe everyone notices you. It's
Yeah,
probably
everybody-
because you're
usually-
the most masculine.
They stand at attention and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my
They
lord!"
don't even
and they
see
do
you.
like
They
a
turn,
bow.
They turn around.
And I'm like, take your seats. Take your
Everyone
seats.
relax.
Yes, yes.
Everybody relax. This is a laid back day. So no, I was just kidding.
I do agree with that though. I feel like I have a pretty interesting sense for energy as well. It's
Yeah.
innate, almost weird sometimes. Someone's like, "What is that?"
Well, it's like Brett was here. We were talking about energy and stuff too. Like how he and I connected. He could just sense like me, and then I was a light bringer, and just all these different things. So we connected pretty early on with all the stuff we've been into. And yeah, no, I'm big on that too, man. I can feel people's energy, man, and like even in just such a massive space, I don't know. It's just hard to pinpoint, but I know exactly what you're getting at, man. It's
I also think like dogs I know this is random, but on the same thing, they say like dogs can sense a bad person or whatever. I 1000% believe in that.
Oh, yeah.
1000% believe. If a dog does it, like it's real weird around you, ground at you, tail between the legs, like something's up with this person for sure.
Unless that dog's just an asshole. Some of them are an asshole. But a lot of times, I mean, that's really not the dog's fault because dogs are very simple. They're typically like that because of the people they're owned by, Like
Same
my
with children.
Yeah. My dogs are fucking big babies. Like my big German Shepherd, she's got a big bark, but as soon as you walk in the door, she's a fucking sissy. But
That fluffy haired dog's a German Shepherd?
Yeah.
Why is it so fluffy?
she's just fluffy as shit, man. She's a long haired German Shepherd, and she's just got so much hair. She's a little fatter, but she's had 2 ACL surgeries in the past like year and a half.
Yeah, this fucking poor dog tore both of her ACLs.
She ruptured one side and I had to pay $4,000 out of pocket to get that fixed. And then they were like, hey, by the way, like within a year, like typically if they rupture one side, the other side's going to have to get done. Like probably going to rupture 2. And I was like, wow. And then, so I went,
Isn't that fucked
this
up?
pisses me off. And then I got insurance. I was paying $100 fucking a month for her insurance, pet insurance. And she had to get surgery again. I reported it. They're like, oh, that's, because it's ligament and this and that, like that's it's not a curable thing, so we can't cover that. So I had to pay another fucking $4,000 out of pocket, and I was like, I love you, but stop having fucking problems. All right, this episode is brought to you by Relentless Pursuit. Check us out at relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com, relentless_pursuit on Instagram, and the Relentless Pursuit _HQ on Instagram as well. Check out this podcast, the Relentless Pursuit podcast, on all platforms. Please like, share, review, and subscribe. And also, we're taking on sponsors. So if you're wanting to sponsor this podcast and get your business out there, we've got a lot of opportunity to do so. So email me at relentlesspursuitlifestyle@gmail.com. And this is a fast growing podcast where, we're growing and growing and growing. The analytics are out there. We'll share them with you, and check it out. Also, we got Cinema 83 in the house. My boy Logan, check him out for all your podcasting and video and editing needs. He'll definitely square it away and get you the best product. And I'll pass it on to Shane. Did he tell you? Did he give you the rundown?
Already, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just into this
look at the camera and let him know.
Sure. If you want to support Small Seed Bar, it's my wife and I's protein bar company. They're plant-based bars, no preservatives, no junk, no fillers, just real food, conveniently in a package for you to eat.
They're delicious. I ate like 2 the other day.
Hey.
I was starving. I was like, I need protein.
Thanks, man. They're filling. I think they're filling.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They definitely tie you over a bit. So I got a couple boxes in the fridge. I've already ate one box.
Where can they find that?
It's just smallseedbar.com.
Smallseedbar.com. Do y'all got Instagram?
Oh yeah, small seed bar everywhere.
Small seed bar everywhere.
Super simple.
Easy.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I love it.
Thanks, man.
I'm not filling out 2XLs yet. I don't even know if I want to get that big.
I do and I don't.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword because one, I want to keep doing fighting, and I don't want to be like, I know he talked about quitting for boxing. Brett,
Not quitting, taking a break.
well, getting away from lifting for boxing, right?
Yeah.
And then Brett got away from lifting completely. Like Brett was like, he and I bare knuckled like 2 years ago, and he was like 210, 215, and now he's like 175.
Jeez.
You know, but he just stopped lifting.
He went down to one. He said he was at 130 when he was wrestling.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But he got
But
pretty
still,
he got
it's
pretty
crazy.
beefy. He was on tests and stuff, and yeah. But he just quit because it helps him move better. I'm like, I just want to be a jacked fighter. You know, like I don't know. I love lifting weights. I love being big. I feel good mentally.
Yeah.
With like some stature.
When I lose size, I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
I'm like depressed.
Yeah, dude. I don't want to be in my head. So I'm like, all right, now I got to figure out how to be big, but also just move like a smaller guy.
Lots of mobility.
It's a lot of work, man. But you know, I think I can find the balance there. I mean, whatever. I'm going to do it regardless.
Is there a
So,
heavyweight? What's the heavyweight class weight?
it's like 225 and above or something like that.
geez. So you're at the bottom of it. Get bigger.
Yeah, or I can fight like a weight class below,
Like at
and
220?
be like the big guy, like at like 215 actually, but be like the big guy at that size. But
When's the last time you were 215?
I think when I cut for a shoot, my last shoot, I think I was like
you?
right at 215, probably like 220, but I don't know, probably like 230, 235 right now.
At least you're not
More pounds.
180 and need to get to 155.
Yeah, no, that's Brett. His last fight, he dropped 33 pounds in a month.
I've heard a lot of fighters that stop cutting weight and actually fight up usually fight better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what I heard. I don't know.
Just depends. Well, the lower weight classes are a lot more competitive, especially in like MMA, like that 155 range or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like that's where like they had the most fighters.
Yeah.
So there's so much competition there. When you get into heavyweights and shit, it's just not as much
not as
competition, but you get some fucking killers. You know, there's some fucking monsters in heavyweight too. So I
You
remember.
also got to think about height, right? So like, I could probably fight at 165, but I would be fighting guys like his height probably.
Because they're all just.
Yeah, because everybody's coming down from somewhere, right? So the higher up in weight class you come, just the generally bigger person that you're going to go against, right? So even 165 is not that crazy, but my issue is my height. So 155 will give me a little bit better matchups when it comes to that. I'll probably still have people that are taller than me anyways, but.
Oh, well.
Anyways, it's a lot of weight to cut. Is my point. So when I was talking about that mountain earlier,
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! I
You're
gotta get
180
all
right
the- Yeah, like 182. I gotta get all the way down to 155,
Or just get jacked.
or just get jacked.
Or just get jacked. Do the stuff. Do the things. No, man. I mean, I guess it's whatever your preference is, whatever you want to do.
Get him that Liver King stack, baby.
Right? Hey, I don't know what kind of gear he was taking for 12 grand a month, but give me some of that.
15 grand a month. And
But when you got that kind of money, that's nothing, dude. And like you're getting the best shit there is.
yeah, I forget.
But still, I don't even think, I feel like there's a point to where it's like, even if it's so good, you're still like, he must be paying just a bunch of extra. Someone's like, dude, this guy makes $100 million a year.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking, hey, dude. So it's usually like $5 grand a month, but throw in an extra 10, please.
I'm sure it was the whole package though.
I wish I could
sure it was like
remember
the
what it
test, the estrogen blocker, peptides,
Everything.
HGH.
Yeah. Well, real growth is expensive. Like I did after my wreck, I did like a 8-9 months of growth, but it was like the Asian shit. You know, I was paying like $250 a month.
growth like HGH.
Yeah. I think it was helping. I mean, I did that with Ted. I mean, it's hard to gauge because one, I like atrophied so much from my accident. And then once I got back into the gym, I got on test, some growth, and I was running a little bit EQ. And I blew up fucking fast.
Yeah.
But I was also like going from eating nothing and not lifting to like that plus eating like 5,000 calories a day on top of like that stuff. And I was just like, you know, and you know, I'm pretty sure it helped for sure, but it's really hard to
That's
gauge.
what it was. He was taking Winstrol.
Winstrol to cut weight.
Yeah, that's what Liver King was taking.
Winstrol.
Yeah, Winstrol was one of the things he was taking,
Doesn't surprise me.
among others.
Well, hey,
But people did say, like, to your point though, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was a guy who broke it more plays, more dates. He was like, I will say that people do act like he just took it and he just is. He looks the way he does. He's like, he does work his ass off.
he works his ass off. And it doesn't mean he's bullshitting about all the nutrients and stuff. Like people are like, oh, you know, like I had some like liver stuff, like supplements, and they're like, oh, Liver King. And I'm like, dude, he's not wrong. Like all that stuff is extremely nutritious. Like there's a reason fucking lions and wolves and shit, like the first thing they go after when they kill something is like the organs.
I think
because
the
all
main
the
issue with
nutrients.
him is that he presents it as if you do these things, you'll look like me. It's like, no, actually, if you do those things,
Only
then you'll
suckers
look like
believe
him.
that though.
I talked to somebody though.
Well, true, but that's where like the ethical side too, because people say, "Who gives a fuck? Why do you care if he's on steroids?" I don't. First of all, I don't give a fuck in general, but whatever. But if I were to have an issue with it, it would be with the way that he presents it. He presents it up, up to this point as if that's not the case, and people will ask him straight up too, and he said no. So
I was talking to somebody about it, and like there's also a theory that he like did that on purpose.
What's that?
Well, think about it. As soon as that happened, not as if like he was already everywhere, but now he's everywhere even more.
Yeah.
Like it still just got broadened him. It got more attention.
What's that thing? No such thing as bad press.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who busted it, he said that he's going up like 15K subs.
Yeah, guess
Since
what?
then.
Liver King's still putting out content. He's still
He
getting
don't
little
give a
shit.
fuck.
Like he's like, hey, so if any, like honestly, I could see that because when it comes down to it, that dude is a marketing genius. And if you followed him or checked his stuff out, like he's a marketing genius. So he was probably just like, hey, let's throw this tactic in there. Like there's, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Everyone knew he was on it anyway.
Yeah.
If you had any kind of like
Just look at
sense
him.
to you, like the fact that people think like that's, oh, you can get there naturally. Like, no, it's not.
Like to your point, like if he sits down and says that and you believe him, that's on you more.
Right, yeah.
More type thing. Do you think he has ab implants? I've also heard that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Ab
what?
implants. Ab implants. Apparently people say he has ab implants too. I don't know.
I don't believe that.
I didn't even know you could do that.
It just looked like he had a growth belly.
Yeah, definitely takes HGH.
Yeah, it's definitely a growth belly he had on him. That's why I was like, oh, he's definitely not natural, but who cares? I don't care. I don't give a fuck what anybody does. I'll talk about what I do, and like people can sit there and blast me like, oh, you take testosterone, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, who? You really gonna judge me based off like my decisions? Like, I could be smoking crack. At least this helps me like fucking push myself a little bit more in the gym, or like, you know, it helps me in other ways, and mentally it helps me as well. I think there's benefits to a lot, like especially if you do it smart. But I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't know.
Have you seen Conor?
Who
lately?
cares?
It's a better way to be.
Have you seen Conor McGregor lately?
Conor McGregor's looking monstrous.
Fucking.
He's on that
steroids.
Liver King.
He's on steroids.
He's on that Liver King stack.
Yeah, he is definitely on something. That man is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Veins in his biceps, huge.
Isn't he small though? Is he small?
Yeah, he fights at 155.
But he's like short. I mean,
I don't know. But maybe he's probably like 5'8". I don't know. He's not super tall.
good weight to stack size.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
But he's he could probably
I'm
fight
tall,
at fucking welterweight, right? He could probably fight at 175 right now. Crazy.
all the way
Anyways,
looking beefy.
he also just snapped his fucking leg in half, and he's in his mid 30s, and he's trying to come back into the most dangerous sport in the world. So you can't really blame him.
Yeah.
But,
We'll see. We'll see.
so, anyways, we got way the fuck off of Shane's
We
story.
did. That's part of it.
Was that recording the whole time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be in there. It'll be in there, man.
I thought we were just talking shit.
Oh no, that's
I mean, that's half the podcasts are just talking shit. So it's part of it.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah. So getting back on track, I know I had just been talking about my dog and shit, and like people are, because we were talking about how like dogs are usually assholes because of the owner, and same thing with kids, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it makes me real sad when people say like people are just bad.
no,
Because I just don't believe that. I don't think people are inherently bad.
no, I don't think.
I think
so
you're born. Don't think you're born bad. I don't think like if
you're
you do bad things or you're bad most of your life that you're just always going to be bad.
You're born innocent. You know,
I agree.
I guess it was, I found something fascinating. I was thinking about like serial killers and shit though. Like
Yeah.
I've read about some serial killers that had pretty normal childhoods and stuff, I think. But like what in their brain triggers
There's
them
an
to
outlier
have.
there, right? Somewhere.
Well, so I was talking to somebody about it. Like, you know, you look in history, right? And you have like the Vikings, for example, like they would just like people like glorify Vikings. And, you know, I you know, part of like my worship is like the same gods as like the Germanic men and stuff like that. But like the Vikings, they would get on their ships, they'd go to villages, they'd fucking rob them, they'd burn them down, and they'd rape women, like they'd rape people, and like they were brutal fucking barbarians. But the thing is like we've also kind of evolved, like
Have we?
our minds. I think, well, because I think like we're like one thing between being beasts and like men, like because we have a conscious now to like we're like no, okay, for the most part, like you know, people I surround myself with, like all right, we know rape's bad, we know this is bad, we know that's bad, like we don't do those things. But back then it was just like they just kind of followed their bestial nature. Like, this is what we do. We fucking go plunder and we fucking rape, and there's nothing to them. They don't have like this kind of remorse over it because it's just such a natural way. But over time, like, that's just not common for people just to go fucking, I'm not
Pillage
gonna
and plunder.
yeah, I'm not going to go to the lake and go to the other side of the lake and bust in someone's house and burn it down and be like, it's mine, motherfuckers, heartlessly, you know? But it was just part of it. So I wonder about that, you know? Like, we all had this, like, inner, just primal beast inside of us that's just, like, got those natural tendencies. So what's the thing that kind of divides that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're saying innately we're like that, but we have social constructs that we agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we have so much problem in this world. We're just trying to tame animals.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
That's a good point. School system, they're like, oh, your boy's acting like he's acting like a young man. And it's like, oh my God. God forbid he does that. Yeah. So then they try to tame him and like make him act like the girls maybe. It's like, that's not how fucking boys are supposed to be. They're supposed to be boys.
Yeah.
You know, they're wild. Just let them be themselves. Obviously, like, not burn villages, but
I think that's all children.
yeah.
Children are supposed to be active and animalistic and wild and push people. Like, they push each other. Have you ever seen like just animals just push people? Not meanly, just do it. Like, children will just do that to each other, just bump each other. I want this, and just knock them over. I'm like, that's how we should be.
Yeah.
You know?
I think kids are supposed to be kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
But people try to control too many things.
I agree.
Well, Brett was saying in the last episode that he was just a super quiet kid, and then like he would draw like violent images, and just because he was super quiet, he said I really wasn't like a fucking violent kid. He was like, I just didn't really talk much.
And he
So I
thought
kinda
those
kept
things
to
were
myself,
cool.
And he thought those things were cool, so he just drew them. But they thought he was like a serial killer in the making, and like started giving him Ritalin and all this stuff. Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Drugging children should be illegal.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
But where were we at with your story?
We're at 15 going to 17.
17, you started. Yeah, 17, you really were pumping weights and you started taking gear and stuff like that and selling gear and other things. And yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I graduated mostly from stealing for the most part. By the time it was 2006. I was working out for 2 years. I was 140-ish after working out for 2 years, like hardcore working out.
Yeah.
And I ran my first cycle that summer, gained 45 pounds in 2 months.
At 17?
Just fucking jacked.
Fuck. I never considered doing a cycle at 17 years old.
I mean, I think most people don't.
I didn't even know where to find that shit.
I mean, I went to like a very like bodybuilder gym. Like all the pro athletes went there.
Okay.
Like they made like people who went to Olympia went there, worked out. It's like when people go to Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, where all like the real athletes go.
That's like the Mecca.
Yeah, it was just like a Gold's Gym when I was growing up. Now it's like some pansy gym, but same owner. They just like selling it differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not as hardcore.
No, when I grew up, it was like real hardcore metal weights, blood. And then when I got out, when I came back after being gone for so long, it was like rubber weights and membership was half the cost. Just you know,
Just trying to make money.
yeah, crappy people.
Damn.
But anyway, so when I was 17, got on gear for the first time, while still going through puberty, stunted my growth, shrunk half an inch from putting on weight too fast. Yeah, like everyone on my father's side's like 6'3", 6'2". I was 6 and went down to like 5'11" and a half. Because my skeletal frame wasn't done growing, and I just stacked way too much weight too fast.
Damn. It made you shrink. That's crazy.
Compressed myself.
That's wild.
I mean, like think of like a pound of steak and times 45 and put that on a frame in
Right.
2 months.
Right.
But anyway,
So that's like, isn't it like 1 pound puts like 4 pounds of pressure on your knees or something like that?
don't know.
So but you were putting a lot of pressure on your body at the point, so
yeah.
it was compressing. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, that summer. Yeah, so that was the summer. So first started doing gear, and then like that radically changed my weightlifting. I became like a serious, like before I was really, really committed, but then I became like psychopathic. My one addiction in life is power.
Yeah.
It's like everything I pursue just has to do with power. Even today, I just like switched what I think about power or like how to pursue it.
Yeah.
But it's everything. It's always what I wanted. So at 17, I started my first cycle, went absolutely insane. I was also like that super quiet kid growing up. I was like real reserved, quiet. I got picked on a lot because I was quiet. Teachers bullied me because I was quiet because I just wouldn't participate. That's why I never went to school. I was not playing anyone's game. I would just be quiet. I'm like, I'm here, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then when I became 17, prior to that, I became more violent, like because I was getting bullied. So I used to walk around with a knife and I was like, I'll stab you, like because I'm not going to fight. But when I became 17, I was like, I'm going to go fight. Completely different mentality. It made me extremely aggressive.
Oh, you talking about the gear did?
Yeah, I think I'm naturally violent because I grew up that way.
Yeah.
Like innately, I'm just like I want to rage.
Yeah.
And then when I got on cycle at 17, I would have like blackout rage fits and just like lose my mind.
It's crazy.
I had
like assault charges.
just one, but no, most of the people, I would not rage on normal people. I'd rage on people who also lived in my world.
Yeah.
For the most part, with the exception of stealing, anything bad I did was just people in my world.
Yeah.
Which is, it's fair game. You're not allowed to rat.
It's a fact.
But when you're a thief, everyone rats, except for me. And that's why I got suckered.
Do you think
when I was
that,
younger.
Do you think that I was actually, I don't want to get off your story
No, it's okay, go.
because we're going good, but I was just thinking about something. I asked you earlier why you stole. You said, I think it's because I didn't grow up with very much. Do you think it was the power thing, though? Like that you could go take their things? Like, do you think?
I don't know if I thought about it that way. I mean, it might be lingering
But, like,
in my mind.
innately,
It's like
maybe?
my one compass that I've always pursued. So,
Because I feel like that's like an exercise of power. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I can come in your house and take your things.
But it was cowardly.
And there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah, because you're not doing it in their
right.
face.
I was a coward as a teen,
Yeah.
like when I was younger, because I would steal things.
Yeah, because you're
you know?
sneaking in, You're
Right.
not like, hey, I'm coming in and taking your shit. And they're like, all right.
Right.
Because
I challenge you in the living room.
Yeah,
Like I always kind of like avoided controversy. I was just quiet to myself. That's why I'd steal things. I don't know if it's necessarily power. I just think I wanted things that other people had.
Yeah.
It was more like envy.
That's a common theme with a lot of people. I mean, that's a common theme though when you look into it is people just want what others have.
Yeah.
And instead of like working for it.
I mean, I thought I was working for it back then.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's how you worked for it.
Yeah,
right.
but exactly. Like it's a mindset. It's like they just take it. They're like, all right, well, I'm going to just take it and make it mine. But rather than just fucking trying to succeed as hard as possible, obviously the gears have switched. But yeah, a lot of people just want what everybody else has. But
Yeah.
then what's when you look back on it, honestly, what do you really get out of all those material things?
When I look back,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I brought my brothers a lot of happiness.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I like just broke my materialistic phase only like a couple years ago.
Yeah. I think when you get older though, and you start to realize like, I mean, of course, like I like having a nice truck.
Yeah.
I like some nice things, but when it comes down to it, like I could live without that shit.
For sure.
I could live without a lot of things material wise, like I think the most I spend is on shoes, but like functional shoes, right? Like I like my Vivos.
I mean, that's different. That's performance.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, like you start to really understand it. Like none of that fucking matters because so many people in this world have all of it,
Yeah.
but they have nothing,
It's true.
That's
When they have an abundance.
they have an
I
abundance.
just wanted a baseline.
They have abundance, but in here they have shit.
Oh, yeah.
They just got the stuff. And then you realize, like, you see these people that are miserable with all those things. You're like, man, it really means nothing. It's like I was at the gas station the other day buying some dip, and I'm behind this lady, and there's a line, and she's picking out like all these fucking like lottery tickets,
That's the worst.
and it's so annoying, dude, because it's like I got like 4 cans of energy drinks and like my arms are freezing, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, I'm ready to get a moot. This lady's taking forever, and I'm like, man. It's sad because people think that's going to fix their problems. But like reality is like you get that money, you win it, right? Does it fix your problems? It just causes more. Because you know what I'm saying? Like you get that money, you win, and it's like, man, I'm still like not happy. But that's what people think. And they just waste their money on shit that's not going to make them happy.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Very sad.
Yeah.
So you were on gear.
Yeah. So that's when I started my first cycle, turning into like completely switched me more to like an aggressive psychopath. It's also when I had like my first real committed relationship, like long-term committed. And that was so terrible.
Really?
Because I'm a terrible person. Yeah.
What was that relationship like? What was that relationship like?
That first summer was really good. And when we went back to school, that would have been my senior year. I just had massive jealousy problems. But my mom's super jealous. Like I grew up and everyone like manipulates people. Like my whole family, they like play emotions to manipulate people and make everyone else be a bad person. And my mom's super jealous like that. My grandmother's super jealous like that. And those are the people who raised me for the most part.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it, but I'm super jealous like that. Now, not anymore. But back then I was super jealous. So when by the time we were in our senior year and like there was other people talking to her, I just would lose my mind.
Like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, I'd go absolutely insane. And that's like when text messaging just came about. So like you're just like talking all the time. Like when you get your first I got my first cell phone, I think when I was like, my first like real cell phone when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
So it's just like constant communication. There's no breaks.
And if there's a break, you're like, she's hitting on me.
Right. Just massive stimulation. She would like do normal stuff, like go to parties, and I would never party. And I'd be so mad. Anyway.
But she was just a normal high school kid living their life.
Normal. Yeah. I mean, I was still like that until post prison. So.
Well,
we're gonna get there though.
That's kind of like the next thing, right?
Almost.
So what after that, you're 17, you're moving forward, you're doing the gear, you're angry, you got that relationship. Like, what's next? Because I know
I'm angry, I'm powerful, physically powerful. So I just started I just want to dominate everything. Then I started selling steroids, and that actually I think took over my stealing addiction because I could make money selling steroids.
Yeah,
which is kind of nice. And then one of my clients that I used to sell to ended up being the second in command of La Familia, which is just a mafia where I'm from. So then we used to trade for Coke. So I started selling Coke. Nice. I want to say 18-ish. So that radically transformed everything. All the while, I've always worked like a normal job too. Like I always believed in living dual lives. So what
were you doing?
What did I do in what?
Like what was your normal job?
Oh, so the alternative school I went to, I graduated with my certified nursing assistant. So I was like a CNA.
Okay.
I got employed at the hospital. My mom's a nurse. I got employed at the hospital my mom worked at doing night shift in the ICU, which was pretty cool. I was like the youngest person ever to get a job in the ICU.
Nice.
And then they in-house trained me to be like a PCT so I could do like phlebotomy and EKGs. So
you're doing that and
living my underworld life.
Selling Coke.
Underground, selling blow.
So I lived like my normal life and appear good to them. I had like a normal-ish woman. And then I had my side girl and then like my underworld life. So I just lived like two separate lives.
Damn.
From 17 till almost 21.
Shit.
So I just did that, started selling drugs, increasingly more violent because drugs meant more power.
Of course.
Yeah. It means more money than people would sell drugs for me. So then like they wouldn't get paid. So I'd have to go handle them. It was just, to me, it was fun back then. I loved it. Like I literally thinking about it now, I'm like, I love it. Yeah. I would do it right now.
You were just like living like, cause there was like so much risk involved too. And you seemed like the kind of person probably like the risk.
And I was making it like I think since when I first started in my early teenage years, even stealing, I was like, I want to be the person that everyone has to come to. Like I have gangster tattooed on my back, shoulder blade to shoulder blade. I was proud. Like I want to be like the one person where I'm from where just everyone has to come to me.
For all this stuff.
Everything. Anything and everything.
Interesting, dude.
This is what I always wanted.
Were you using drugs or were you just...
Nope. Steroids.
But not the Coke or anything?
Nope. No, I used to drink back then. Not excessively, but I used to drink. And then I would do some clients, if they're important enough, I would do a bump with them for like Coke.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But it wasn't like you were like getting high all the time off Coke and you were just...
No.
It's just a business aspect to it, really.
I don't really like being addicted to things. I don't like being reliant. And I never actually considered steroids to be something I was addicted to, but turns out it was. I was like, yes, it's just a tool to get power.
Yeah, no.
So you're the main guy for the Coke at the time.
I mean, not the main guy, but I was on the rise.
Gotcha.
So I started doing that, and then I think by 19 people would start trading Klonopins, perks, oxys, weed, and I'd be like, cool. Now I'm just gonna sell everything.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 18, that's when all the pills. Yeah. That's when I was getting into all that shit. Good stuff.
That area was really bad with the opioid epidemic, right?
Really, Massachusetts,
Northeast,
real bad. Yeah.
Yep. New Jersey and like that area.
Yeah, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Everyone I was in prison with was all the young white males were all there for being drug addicts on opioids.
Really?
Every single one. They're like, I had a B&E, I had a home invasion because they were all looking for money because they wanted drugs. Yeah. So sad. I'm like, they don't belong in prison.
That's fucked.
They're not bad people. Yeah, they're addicts.
Especially when you know that that company did that on purpose too.
They need legitimate help.
I know.
Once that comes out and they basically said this is gonna fuck people up, but it's gonna make us a lot of money.
Yeah, but even when I was in high school, people were doing heroin.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway.
And in your high school?
Yeah, when I was in high school, yeah.
So you started selling everything?
Everything. Yeah. Primarily Coke, and then I would just trade. Well, steroids and Coke, and then I would trade for whatever everybody else had.
Did you have any kind of, were you able to kind of fly on the radar at all, or were you having issues with cops and that kind of
the police always wanted to put me in prison since I was like 12. Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
So not only
I'd get pulled over all the time.
But you were increasing what you were doing, too.
Right. I loved it, though.
But so how'd you kept from getting caught, though? You said you get pulled over all the time.
Because I'm smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I was 19, yes, in 08, I stopped registering cars in my name. So they'd be in everybody else's name. I'd drive around, so they couldn't pull me over by my plates.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
There'd be none of that. Because I used to drive around with a ratchet in my car, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
A ratchet, like to switch the license.
A ratchet is a gun.
Okay. That's what I thought he said, but then I was thinking like maybe you were talking about like
That's
a ratchet
gangster terminology.
to pull the license plate off is what I was thinking. But yeah, okay.
But yeah, only a couple times I've been pulled over with a warrant for my arrest. Thankfully, it was usually when I was leaving the gym. They all knew I went to the gym, so they'd always usually catch me there.
They ever come in the gym and get you?
Oh yeah. When I got arrested and sent to prison, they came and pulled me from the gym. I was like, come on. I was so mad.
You're like, let me
I
finish
was
my
like,
lift at least.
No, I was like, this is where I work out. You guys know I'm here. Like, you didn't have to come in here and take me. Cause I've never resisted arrest.
Yeah.
They want to arrest me, I'm cool. I was arrested like 24 times from 15 to 19. I've never resisted. I don't care. I'm like, my battle's not with you. It's with the court.
Yeah.
We'll fight in front of the judge. I'm not going to fight you.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I was so mad. Just to humiliate me in my place. Damn. The gym was my home, you know?
Yeah.
So is that kind of what happened next? Was the
So yeah, just kept living life, and then, you know, going and going and going. And then in January or February of 2009, I was middle of my back workout with one of the people I trusted, because I never really went anywhere alone. Yeah, and they walked in, I think there was 9 cops, walked straight to me, told me I was under arrest, and I was infuriated. I was furious.
How many cops did you say it was?
9. Damn. I'm like, I've never resisted. It just embarrassed me.
And then you went away.
So then they took me in, and I posted bail from the police station. Went to court the very next morning, and the judge, it was just went to district court for the bail hearing. And the judge was like asking them all these questions. The police, not me. We're asking the prosecution all these questions. Because my case was from the year before. And it took him 8 months to get a warrant for my arrest. So anyways, asked him all these questions, and he was like, why did it take so long? And they were like, just BSing. And he was like, this doesn't make any sense. And he looked at me straight in the face, and he said, I'm going to reduce your bail in half. You need to go get a lawyer. This was the judge.
Damn.
In district court. Then it got pushed up to Supreme Court, and I just continued trial.
What was the actual like charge for selling?
Huh?
What was the actual charge you were arrested for?
No, it was assault and battery with a deadly weapon.
Oh.
But it didn't really happen. So
Oh, so that actually
the cop set me up completely.
Oh.
Yeah, completely set me up.
So that's why the judge said that? He was like, this is bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what they were saying they're waiting for was DNA evidence, and there was 0. But anyway.
Gotcha.
But, you know, they were just waiting. The police officer who took me in, so I went to the police station in 2008, walked in, no lawyer, happily, there because the detectives were looking for me. I was like, I'll sit down with you, talk, because I wasn't worried about it. And it was a woman detective, hated me. She'd been after me since I was in high school, hated me. And she was like, when I left, I didn't remember this, but when I left, she said, next time I see you, I'm going to arrest you. And I was like, okay, this is just a game we play, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's a game.
It's all protocol now.
Right. It's fine. And then when she was one of the officers that came and took me, when they were booking me, she was like, do you remember what I said last time I saw you? Shook my head no, because I refused to talk. I'm like so mad. She said, next time I see you, I'm going to arrest you. And I was like, this motherfucker. Just pissed.
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm actually not pro police. I'm pro sheriff, not pro police.
She like rubbed her face in it. She like rubbed her nose in it.
Oh yeah. She was the daughter of the chief police, and she had like a huge like ego problem. And just hated me. They all hated me because I never got convicted of a felony. Ever. Like I just always escaped. You know, I'd go to court and then find ways to win.
So they just got frustrated. They were like, we got to focus on this guy so hard.
Yeah, they hated me so bad. And they just wanted me gone.
So what happened with that situation?
So you're
not pro police, you said.
I'm not pro police. I'm anti-police.
Yeah.
Pro sheriff. Sheriffs are nice.
Yeah.
You know, I think police officers should be elected and have to be at the will of the people who elect them.
Yeah.
I think police are just the state's weapon.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's good ones and bad ones.
Right. I mean the
good.
construct.
Yeah,
the
yeah. No,
institution.
I can see that, man.
I think to be in a position of power like that, it just takes a really special person to do it and not be corrupted by it.
That's why I think they should be duly elected and have to and then every year people got to decide if they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I think police should be rewarded for no crime, not get rewarded for getting tickets and citations.
Yeah.
Just upsetting. I'm like, you should be rewarded for having zero.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the point.
And speeding tickets aren't.
In Mount
Speeding
Juliet,
isn't to me like a fucking
in Mount Juliet, there was a
crime.
There's a spot that's like a church that they would always sit on Division, and anyways, they would pull behind. You see this all the time. They'll pull behind a bush and turn the lights off and shit. Which, first of all, I don't think they were supposed to have their lights off when they're sitting, but my argument was always that it was like if you truly were trying to prevent crime, you would sit out in the open with your lights on, because then people would see you and they'd slow down. You're not trying to prevent anything. You're trying to catch people. And there's a very different mindset behind trying to catch people versus trying to prevent things.
Yeah.
And where I'm from, corruption's pretty deep because it's like there's just a lot of old mafia there.
Yeah.
So like the police are very old school. Like I've only met 2 that are good, and I've known people who use steroids that are police officers, and they'll just tell you the same shit. They're all dirty.
Yeah.
Like where I'm from. I'm not saying it's like that everywhere.
Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, they'll arrest you for gear, but then a lot of them are on gear.
Yeah.
I've known some police that body build. I'm like, takes a little bit extra help to get to that level.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But so whatever you at there.
That'd be
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, we're talking about going to prison or where were we at?
So then that was 2009, and then just kept going, and then in March of 2010, when I was 20 years old, got sentenced to 10 years. Damn. Yeah.
And what was that? What was that for?
That was all better.
That was all better. So they did get you on that?
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yes.
You're like, damn, y'all didn't even get me for some legit shit.
It was bad.
That would piss me off even more.
I thought there's no way I'm going to prison. There's no way. This isn't real. I was like, no one thought I was going to prison. My lawyer didn't think, no one. And then boom, sentenced 10 years. It was like the biggest one you could go for. They gave me like the max time.
But and I bet with your personality too, like he was saying, I bet it pissed you off even more because you didn't actually do it. Like if you caught me fair and square for something I did.
Yeah. I mean, like when I was there, I reframed my mind. Like I went to prison for everything I've done.
Right.
Like if I didn't live the life I lived, I wouldn't have the bullseye on my back.
Right.
The police wouldn't have been after me.
Yeah. Regardless, like you maybe
That's
you
good
were
though.
set
You
up
take
in
ownership of it in that way, because a lot of people don't do that.
Well, you knew now looking back, you're like, your time was coming regardless.
Yeah, I knew it back then too.
Yeah.
It's just a game you play. I'm either gonna be in prison or I'm gonna die. Like it's a short-lived life.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing that. Yeah, that is the two.
Yeah. Just really ambitious, get as far as I can before it happens.
Yeah. Well, how was prison,
It was awful.
by the way?
It was really
Sorry,
bad.
that was my bad. That was my bad.
It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
So I went at 20. I can't even describe but I don't even think I remember the first week. I went to Supermax when they processed me. They take you. I was strip searched like literally. It must have been like 25 times my first couple months there. Just like guards. Anyway, not the point. They just treat you like an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a legitimate animal. It's a place where people go to get worse, not to get better. That's how it's designed.
I've heard that.
Yeah. It's designed to have like repeat offenders so they can keep my opinion, so they can keep their money laundering, because prison's just money. They get money from the state gets money from the feds get money from the taxes. And if there's no crime, people don't get money. So they want people to reoffend. That's just my opinion. Because it's not rehabilitating. It's the opposite. It makes
a lot of sense. I do think the whole prison system is a little fucked up for sure.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I haven't been, but I know a lot of people that have, and it's pretty shitty. Like what you're saying, it's just, I don't know. They keep people in there. They just piss them off even more, and they treat them like shit.
Yeah. And then they give them like no jobs, no money. So you get out, you got to do the same thing you did before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's all you know.
I was gonna say that too. And then if anything, like you have to double down on it because now you've been to prison and that's on your record. And you can't get
They should do like one of the, either you're scarred for life or you go pay your time and it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you were gonna say you should do one or the other. Is that what you're gonna say? Like it's not like
it should be one or the
that makes
other.
sense. That makes sense.
And when you're doing time,
I'm sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say because you do your time and that's supposed to be. That's supposed to be like that's what you did. You did X crime. You do your time. And now you're good. Right. But it's
not. You're scarred for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they should make you work. You should be able to get a real job, minimum wage. So you can if someone works minimum wage for 10 years, they get out and actually live a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people want to change their life when they get out. A lot of people will probably go in. They're like, "Fuck, dude! Like this is the
never
worst.
want to come back.
This is the fucking worst." And they probably have hopes that life's going to change afterward. But then it really doesn't. Life's sped up. Life has changed like on the outside, but you're in the same spot kind of.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people are in there that aren't young are just like people who just constantly come back, and they'll just tell you like it's normal to them.
Yeah.
You know, most of them are drug addicts.
Yeah.
Most of the people when I was in prison with were drug addicts. You know, very few. Like we had the lifers; those pretty much people who went in for murder, and then a lot of people were like just like 2 to 5 years. They're just drug addicts.
Yeah.
You know, and they do bad things because they're drug addicts. And then you had like the actual bad people, like me.
When really nothing's been actually stopped as far as drugs go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So is there anything else about that time period? I mean, it's 10 years. So is there anything else about that you want to share?
I only spent 3 years in. Thank God.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah.
good.
So I got sentenced to
That's
10. Yeah, I would have just got out if I did 10 years.
I was actually just thinking that. I was like, because you said early 33, I was like doing the math.
So yeah,
He just got out like yesterday.
I should be way bigger.
This is the first place I came. Fucking left there, went straight here.
Just kidding. You know, everyone gets bigger when they go to prison. I got smaller. I lost like 70 pounds.
Oh, no shit.
I was like
70 pounds.
I was like 235.
But you were still
juicing.
probably taking. Yeah, I was,
I
gonna
was
say.
235 yoked. Like I had 23-inch arms. I have like shrink marks on my arms. They're so small now. I was huge. I was just so big. I had a 40-inch waist with a 6-pack, just jacked.
Damn.
Just juicing out the gills and just.
And then you had to cut. You basically had to come off everything cold
Yeah,
turkey
that's what I'm
too.
saying.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So your levels are probably all fucked and shit.
Thankfully, I think I was so young it didn't like.
kind of
Fuck it too much.
rebounded.
Yeah, I
on
think
its
it just
own.
like yeah.
That
yeah,
worked.
Thank God.
So did you find the biggest guy in the jail yard and punch him in the face?
I
Like
was
they
the
always
biggest
say?
guy.
You were the biggest guy.
So
Okay, well,
I
that
was,
helps.
I was really fortunate to be that big because I was so young when I came in. So I was on. They put me on isolation for my first couple months. First couple weeks. Then I was still in a single cell, but in like a normal block, and I think it was rows of 15. So it was 45 people in a block, and prison's very segregated. So it's like white, black, Hispanic, and then it's typically whites all intermingle, blacks team up based on where you're from. And then most of the Hispanics intermingle within whatever they are. So
Yeah.
if you're Puerto Rican or Dominican,
Yeah.
with like how you play games, how you sit at chow,
Everybody just kind of sticks to
how
their
you
own,
how you
yeah.
work out. Like that's just like
That just naturally happens.
no, the prison does that.
Okay.
So in the real world, we're all divided by class, right? We usually intermingle with people who are similar to us, like we grew up on the same street, so we all have the same amount of money.
Yeah.
You know, and that's usually in prison. Everyone's at the same class, so the only thing they can do is divide you by how you look.
Gotcha.
So they won't put two. You have to bunk with someone who looks like you. So they'll never put a black and a white person together in the same cell.
Really?
Yep.
That's
They
interesting.
do this on purpose.
They do it on purpose to like how else are they going to segregate you? Otherwise, you're all going to be a team.
Oh, so they want you.
They
I see
want
what you're
you
saying.
separated.
Because then it's 3 groups versus 1 big group.
Yeah, that's right. And then you have all the inner groups inside these groups.
And then you have people going after each other based off of that because,
Right.
yeah, they're already segregated when they come in. So
Yep.
it just intensifies things.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they do it on purpose. And then I think everyone else just follows construct. You know, like all
Once
the
it's
people.
there, yeah.
Because there are some people who break. Like I grew up mostly around Hispanic people, so I never actually consider myself like white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using quotations. White.
Yeah.
I always
like,
thought
"I'm not white.
I'm
What are
always
you
like
talking
I don't
about?"
like white people, but I really didn't think I liked wealthy white people.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, typical poor person. You know. Anyway,
So 3 years, not 10 though?
yeah, so just 3 years. So yeah, I went in. But yeah, so because I was so big, one of the Hispanic guys came up to me and was like, "Where are you sitting at?" It was my very first time in general population after isolation, because they isolate everybody at first to figure out like, are you a threat? How dangerous are you? Your point evaluation. Points is like how they deem you to be a threat. It's like 0 to 15.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's max, there's like the super max, there's medium max, there's medium to low minimum, and then there's minimum
Yeah.
for like how they point rank you. So my first day out, a guy came up to me and was just like, "Where are you sitting at, chow?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "You're going to sit with us. And if anyone sits at our table, you got to kick him out." And I said, "Okay." Because I was so big.
Yeah.
So people just wanted to be my friend. And I was also like, I have La Familia tattooed on my ribs. I have gangster tat on my back. So it's like, I'm a very interesting character.
Yeah.
I used to have another gang tattoo on my chest that I covered up. But so I think people saw me and they're just like, we're going to use him.
Yeah.
Young, big, probably reckless.
That's
He's
usually
going
how
to be a
that
good
goes.
guy. Yeah. So thankfully, because I was so big, no one would fuck with me, which is
That
really
is
nice.
good. Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
So why did it get reduced?
Fast forward a little bit. My grandmother, once again, found, because my case was real dirty, obviously. My grandmother found a lawyer who usually overturns like murder charges and was like, hey, this is what happened to my grandson.
Seems like a common theme. Your grandmother kind of always had your back.
She is. Yeah, my whole life.
Yeah.
Very nice. I don't talk to her anymore though, but real sad. But anyway, she's a good person when she wants to be. But yeah, good old grandma. Found a lawyer, gave her my case, was like, well, you just look at his case. That lawyer then visited me and she was like, I've never told anybody they have a good case to overturn, but you have a good case. I was like, wow. So then I got to put it in my head that I'm like, not going to do the whole 10 years.
Yeah.
Which was nice. My grandma gave her the retainer. She started working for me. And like 2 years in, the retainer actually ran out. And the lawyer's like, I'm going to still do it, which was really, really nice. I was very fortunate.
Yeah.
She was working on getting it overturned for over 2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
So, yep. So we're going back and forth to court. By my second year, we started having court dates. I was going back and forth to court. The judge who sentenced me retired. And then my lawyer's like, we're going to file for a overturning based on like a new trial. So we got a new judge. We got a bunch of people with like affidavits for like witnesses that put different people at different times.
Yeah.
I didn't testify the first round, so I could actually speak this time. I wrote like this because 20 hours, 21 hours in a cell. I had so much time to think. I wrote literally like a 20-page document with like this tiny little writing, but every single line on like legal notes, submitted to the judge. A few months later after that, the judge, in December of 2012, the judge was like, I'm not going to overturn the conviction, but this was real shady. I'm going to let him have a new trial. And then I was released based on a new trial, put on an ankle monitor, and was on state arrest.
So they didn't, even though they said you didn't actually do it, they didn't overturn
He didn't say I didn't do it. He just said my trial wasn't fair.
Because the process wasn't followed.
Primarily because the judge told the jury that I wasn't a good person. And they're supposed to be unbiased.
Yeah.
So like in the closing arguments, the DA had his closing argument, and then my lawyer had mine. When my lawyer said, oh, he's a decent young man, the judge actually stopped him mid-closing argument and said, you can't say he's decent, which is not true because he can.
Yeah.
He's just making an opinion.
Yeah.
So based on that, and then the affidavits from the other people, he gave me a new trial. So after 3 years, I was released, kind of, on an ankle monitor.
That was a fucking relief, though, man.
So was that like the new like you being able to be released with your own house arrest? Like was that like the new?
I was just out on bail, so my case was still pending.
Okay,
and I was going. It was like going to trial all over again.
Gotcha.
And then so that was December 2012. By January 2014, the DA basically finally came to the judge and was like, I can't prosecute him. He's like, I still think he's guilty, but they did what's called like a noli pros. Anyway, he's like, I think he's still guilty, but I'm not gonna pursue the charges anymore and just dismiss them. But with the noli pros, it left it open so he could like, for as long as my statute is open for the crime, he could always bring it back.
Oh shit.
Yeah, should be coming up soon though, because it's been a long time.
So like at any point they could try you again?
Yeah, but after a statute. So I don't know what it is for. I think it might be 15 years.
That's kind of fucked though.
That's okay. But they did it so I couldn't sue the state.
Yeah. But you're not worried like going into that.
No. They just did it so I couldn't sue them.
Yeah.
Because like you're supposed to get like a mandatory minimum for wrongful incarceration of like a dollar amount. So basically it's just like I lost 5 years of my life.
My cousin was framed for a hit and run.
Oh yeah.
And I begged him to sue him and he just didn't.
I mean, I wouldn't, even if I could have, I wouldn't now, even if I could. Because I'm like, then they're just going to be on you all over again. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's just get the fuck away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just want to wash my hands of it all and move forward.
Yeah, that was it. So so that happened. Having an ankle bracelet was kind of weird. But yeah, prison was a terrible experience. Never want to go back. I don't think anyone should be there.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude. Like I had an old friend. We got in an argument one time and he's like, "You've never even been to jail." And I'm like, and like, yeah, I'm glad for it. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like I used to do some really dumb shit. You know, I've talked about it a lot on here and like, I've just gotten lucky over the years, you know, but at the same time, like, I'm very fucking glad I've never been to jail or like I don't want to go to jail or prison. Like I want to fucking live my life and enjoy it and not have to be locked in a goddamn cell with, you know, everybody else and just be a fucking caged animal, dude. Like, I'm not about that. So I'm very fortunate to have like avoided some trouble and just been able to move forward in my life and, not have to worry about that shit. So, I don't know, but I don't know. I just could not fucking imagine, dude. It just sounds terrible. It's like, this gotta be like the worst thing. I've always thought, I was like, man, if I ever, it's not going to happen, but life sentence, I'd rather be dead.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
like
Me
kill
too.
me.
Me
Fucking,
too.
where's that?
They should give people that
like,
option.
please hang me now.
That'd be
Like,
crazy. That would be crazy.
There's a couple of people that hang themselves.
And
That would be crazy if they said, "Hey, we'll give you a life sentence," or
You should be able to.
that would be wild.
I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, that does. And I get claustrophobic and shit. And like I got a DUI in like 2015. And I remember being in the fucking room. First of all, it was in downtown Nashville. I was like, this is not my fucking crowd of people. I was like, I cannot believe I'm in this room right now. But that's a whole another part of the story. But there's a door like right there, like basically right there, And I just remember the worst feeling ever being like, there's a door right there and I can't leave. I cannot leave. Like I could physically stand up and walk over there, but I can't leave this room. Like that's just the worst. And that's not obviously prison. Like I couldn't imagine. I would probably have an anxiety attack.
I know, you get used to it. It's weird. It becomes like your new way of life.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of your only option.
Right, yeah. You have no
You
choice.
kind of get to where it's like, man, this is what it is now. I got to fucking live this. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you just got to regear your mindset. As I was saying, you're talking about being in prison and you kind of get used to it, right? But you kind of find like you can find purpose there.
Yeah.
Like you found God, right?
Right. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It stopped me from living reckless. I like changed my whole perspective. Like my addiction to power. When I was in prison, I realized that is very short for how I was living because I dominated mostly off of fear.
Yeah.
So like, I couldn't get anyone to do anything for me at all. I had like one friend who actually loved me that would come see me and would do stuff for my mother occasionally, but he actually ended up becoming an addict on like pills. But I couldn't get anyone to do anything because everyone was afraid of me. They didn't really care about me.
Yeah.
Short-term leadership.
Yeah. So then I learned like, oh, I actually need people to love me.
Yeah.
So it changed like everything. It changed entirely how I decided to live.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing for you.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate on that, we talk about how fucked up the system is and stuff. But do you think that in a way, because it's so fucked up, it does do the job?
No.
Okay.
It does
Gotcha.
not.
Gotcha.
I think the repeat offender rate.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that?
I'm like
okay,
an
gotcha.
extreme anomaly.
Gotcha,
I think the
gotcha.
return offender rate is like 80-something%.
Gotcha.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I have like a cool story, like just like so if you turn to God in prison, it seemed to like be really weak.
Yeah.
It's very frowned upon. People don't like it. There was like this Bible on this table that I saw like multiple times. I just felt like convicted to go pick it up. And I was like, I'm not picking this up. Everyone's gonna see me pick it up. I'm not bringing it to my cell. And usually books don't stay on tables in the rec for a long time. And it was literally like 3 weeks goes by and the book's still in the same spot. So like I was the last one, like we were all like waiting at a water fountain to fill up our little like water bottles. And I was like, everyone was in their cell. I like grabbed the book, run in my room, hide.
Nobody saw me.
Then I start reading it and I couldn't stop reading it, which is really cool. And I developed my relationship with God. I felt like he like started talking to me like in my mind. He gave me like a couple tests and he told me, this is like when I was overturning my case. And he told me, I was like praying one time. Cause I like in prison, you just fast a lot. This is where I learned how to fast, I think. Cause like you just don't eat.
Yeah.
They don't feed you anything. And especially days I went to court cause I don't eat at all until I get back. So I could be gone all day and then I get back finally to the prison at like 8, 9 p.m. And then I finally get like the dinner they give me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was praying one time. I was just like, it was one of my court cases I was supposed to go to court and then it got delayed. They're like, you're not actually going today. And I was so like defeated. I felt defeated.
Yeah.
And I was just praying. And I was like, man, when is this going to be over? And God told me, he's like, when you finish the Bible, you're going to be set free. And I was like, okay. So I kept reading it. And then like, I actually had a real problem with religion. I hated church. Like I like found God on my own. I have a very unique opinion about how I feel about Christianity versus most people. And I think I'm self-taught. That's why. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm never going to church. Like I don't want to. I just felt it like in my heart. Like I just don't want to do it. And then I didn't hear audibly, like some of the other stuff I heard audibly, being like, you got to go to church. And then somebody from my block actually invited me to go. And I said, yes. And then like when the doors opened for dinner to go to chow, I told him, I was like, I'm not going. And then when the doors re-popped open like 20 minutes later, I went to a cell. I'm like, let's go. And so we go, and then a fight breaks out that night. Someone got stabbed. So we're all locked in our cell. We're all locked in like where our rec area. So in church till like 9:45, 10 p.m. Normal back locking time is 8:30 p.m. And I get out, and I was supposed to call my mother that night because like something's going on with the trial. And like the phones turn off usually at 8:30. I get back, and like everyone's coming back. And usually I don't break the rules. I'm like not a rule breaker when it comes like out in the open. I always did things like in private.
Yeah.
I like picked up the phone, tried to call my mom. That actually worked. And I was like, oh shit, the phones are working. Called real quick. And I was like, hey, sorry, there was a big fight. We got locked up. And she was like, I've been waiting for you to call me. Your lawyer called me. You're going to court tomorrow for your bail hearing. And I was like, holy shit. So it was just like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy buildup. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
3
insane.
days after I finished the Bible, and then the night I finally went to church was something I didn't want to do, I was set free. Well, free from prison,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is pretty cool. There was a lot of other things too, but that was like,
Yeah, like the phone shouldn't have been on.
right. Yeah.
The whole, like,
there was another time I was in a van, and I was like praying again because I was just so miserable. And I was like, how many more times I got to go to court? And the judge told me 3 more times. And the 3rd time is when I got released.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So just stuff like that for me. Like, and then I learned how to love through the Bible.
Nice.
Yeah. Because I didn't know how to love before.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How did it teach you that?
How? Just like the characteristics. Like they actually describe the definitions of love, like long suffering, patience, kindness, selflessness, basically, and service. And then like reading without someone telling me and seeing how Jesus himself lived, which was way different than everyone else. So, but then I was like, oh, this is what I have to do to gain power to get people to love me.
So it's just re-geared that.
Yeah,
that
just
mindset
completely
too.
switched,
Yeah.
and it worked.
That's cool as fuck.
And I'm being a good person.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's beautiful, dude. And like that's a really cool journey, man. And I think that just your whole life built up, and it's just like this psychotic young man that's just reckless as fuck. He really doesn't seem to care about anybody else. Like
I thought I was a sociopath for a long time.
yeah, and then like in those 3 years, man, it just re-geared everything. And like you said, you're an anomaly, and you should forever be grateful for that experience, man. Because I see, we'll get to where you're at now, but I mean, I think it's fucking beautiful. I love hearing shit like that, man, because a lot of people get stuck in those ways forever.
I know. If I never went to prison, I would have been or dead, or I would have went to prison something I actually did and probably in there forever. So
Damn. Yeah. That's wild.
very
dude.
fortunate. At a young age too, it was nice.
So what happened after prison? Like you were on probation or whatever and stuff like that. Like I know you moved. Tell us about that.
So I got out on bail. Then my trial was officially overturned. During that time, I met my now wife, who comes from like a really good family. When I met her, I thought she was just like, she dresses real poor. She used to go to the gym I went to. So I just thought she was poor too. I had like this weird thing about not mixing classes.
Yeah.
Anyway, probably for fear of judgment, I'm assuming. But yeah, so I'm like, I go to her house. The first time I pulled up her house, I'm like, you live in a mansion. It was not a mansion, but it was really big.
Yeah.
Like her parents' room was like the size of the house I grew up in. It was super small.
So to you, it was like insane.
Yeah,
It's huge.
that is
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah. So anyway, and then they were wealthy. Her father owned a company. He owned a nursing home. So he did a good job, worked a lot, but did a good job.
Yeah.
Raised all his kids like real proper, had a stay-at-home mom, like really nice family. And here am I, gang tattoos, ankle monitor, and in their house, and they just like full-blown accepted me. I ended up living with them for the most part. All like that whole summer we dated. So we dated from June to August. They let me live with them. They gave me all my food.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And that one experience changed how I thought about money.
Yeah.
Like how I thought about wealthy people.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Radically changed my whole life. I was like, wealthy people are fucking nice.
Because you hadn't had
Because to
any
that point, yeah, you
Yeah.
were, yeah.
Yeah. That was your first experience with wealthy people. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Okay. Like,
Right. Yeah. I was like, holy crap. And it really reframed how I wanted to live my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how I thought about money in general, which is really cool.
That's super cool. Man.
And then she moved to California to go to school. She transferred for her junior year to USD. We did like I couldn't leave the state. So, because I was on an ankle monitor. So we did long distance. And then she went to court with me when they finally released me, and was like, we're going to drop the case. And I was like, I'm moving to California.
Immediately.
Yep. So when she was there on Christmas break, that was when I went to court. She was there for Christmas break, and she called a bunch of apartments, found one that she's going to go see when we get back. And on Valentine's Day, 3 weeks later, I drove across country and started my life in California.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
just
so
me and her,
cool.
which was really cool because I was like, no family, no interference, no past life.
Yeah.
Total paradigm shift for you.
Yeah.
Totally new environment, totally new people, and you got your teammate, you got your woman.
You went
Hell
from Massachusetts to freaking California.
Yep. I drove straight, didn't stop. I did it in 52 hours. Only pulled over twice.
Oh my
30 minutes and 45 minutes. Didn't sleep, just fucking full throttle.
You were that fucking stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I also don't tend to like enjoy normal things. So I'm just like, I just want to get there. I'm like very mission minded.
Yeah.
I'm like, my goal is to get to California as fast as I can.
That's crazy.
I love it, dude.
Yep.
I love road trips, but I'll haul ass, but I'll stop for a little bit. I'll
always
take
like that.
Yeah. I'm like, there's something
me
over
too.
there. Let me
Yeah.
go see.
There's something over there. That's funny.
But you're just like, man,
You had somewhere to be.
I don't even know what states I was going through. I'm just want
Me
to
either.
fucking make it.
GPS and you go.
Yeah. That's super cool, man. And what was life there? Like, in California?
It was cool. It's a completely different environment. The Northeast is fast paced, aggressive, violent. The Southwest is like island time. Everyone's like super laid back. No one wants to do anything. Everyone's like, we're chill, we're fine, let's go to the beach. I hated it. It was a weird shift for me. But
Yeah.
everywhere I got a job, people wanted me to work because I'm like a Northeastern hustler. So like I'm just a worker. I'm just like, I love working.
Yeah.
So that helped. It was good. I started bouncing, which is what I used to do. When I was on my ankle monitor, I just worked under the table at a nightclub because I couldn't get a regular job.
Of course.
Yeah. And then a few months after that, I started working for like this startup company. It was a meal delivery service. And I was like the 7th employee. It was doing pretty cool. And then we had like this we used to work with CrossFit regionals.
Okay.
And then I had like a big contract. The owner really liked me. And he was like, hey, can you work this weekend? I was like, hey, I'm still bouncing because I was doing both jobs. And he was like, if you leave your bouncing job, I'll make sure I can cover like all the money you'd make bouncing for like the rest of the time you work for me. Like basically being like, he'd give me enough hours to cover it.
Nice.
And I was like, done. So I just quit bouncing. I didn't even put in my 2 weeks.
Get away from that
guys.
nightlife.
Yeah, that didn't faze me so
Yeah.
much, except for not sleeping.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink or do drugs or any of that nonsense.
So you just go there and just do your thing.
I'd go there and just be militant, which they didn't really like, but the club owners, they're like, you gotta be fun. I'm like, how's security supposed to be fun?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, what am I fucking here
Like in
for?
California, you can't even yell at people. Like I'd be like, all right, time for everyone to go. They're like, you gotta lower your voice. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how am I supposed to get people to leave?
hey, you're going up and hugging them.
It's like, that's what I meant. But like I come from somewhere aggressive and they're just like, everyone's super laid back.
Yeah.
I'm like, everyone's so sensitive over there.
Yeah.
That was anyway, funny. So I started working with this startup company and I like killed regionals. I worked like so we had like a booth. So we've had the athletes as a contract, and then we also ran a booth. He let me run the booth with one other person, and I just ran the line for 14 hours straight. And he was like, I'll be surprised if you even pee. I'll just go. I'm just an animal. I'm like usually pretty focused.
Yeah.
And after that weekend, he was like, I'm gonna do way more with you. And I'm like, cool. And this was the owner of the company. And after that, he started giving me more responsibilities. Cause I literally started off as like their shipping manager, but all I did was label boxes and tape them. That's pretty much all I did when I first started.
Hey, it was a start.
Yeah, it was really cool, but it was like a really super low level. I think the only lower I could have got was maybe like a dishwasher, but it was like front of the house, back of the house, so it wasn't
Yeah.
even the same thing.
Yeah.
And then so I was March, May was regionals, and then he had a baby in June. And when he had a baby, like he just stopped showing up. So like more of his responsibilities got like pushed on other people. And the person who got the responsibilities got fired, and that person's responsibilities were given to me. And then customer service quit. And they had no one to run customer service because it was mostly just kitchen people. I don't know if you like know like industry people, but they're all like not responsible, very reckless,
Yeah.
no manners. They can't talk. I was like, considering like my old life, I'm still very proper. Like I speak very proper.
Yeah.
Because I've always tried to live two lives.
Of course.
But anyway, so we were just like, he was talking one day, just like he was venting. He was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was like, I'll do it. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'll do it. So I started doing the 3 jobs. I had to go meet his wife, who he also owned the company with him. And she taught me, because I never really used a computer before.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is how you do everything. And I was like, done. And then that's when I started working. I was doing like 85 hours ish. And then we got the very first Amazon Fresh contract. And he was like, you need to go get manager certification, like a food manager certification. He was like, you passed that test, we'll talk. And I was like, done. I went and studied, took the test, passed. And by that October, November, I started running the company. So in like 6 months ish.
You're like running the whole ship.
Running the whole ship. Yep.
Damn.
It was that year we finished at 1.6 million in revenue. So I'm just like, me and this kitchen manager were running it. So like I ran the business side of it and then helped with the kitchen side of it. And then the kitchen manager was basically like the lead chef, like made sure all the food was cooked, did all the food ordering. And then in February of the next year, we doubled overnight. Literally overnight, we doubled for all like the New Year's resolutions. It was also a paleo company.
Yeah.
So like paleo was really on the rise. We're mixed in the CrossFit community. We had a lot of things working in our favor, like product market fit, like just right on the button. And by that year, the lead chef just like tanked, started drinking again, and just like was really, really lacking on his responsibilities. So they let him go, and Pete's like, "Can you do everything?" And I'm like, "I'll do it all." And I just started. That's when I like took over everything.
So you were cooking and shit too?
No, okay. Food ordering. I had sous chefs.
Oh, okay.
I was ordering all the food. I was making sure all the numbers were straight. I would only prep. I would never cook. I'm not a cook.
Yeah.
I can prep. You give me a knife, I'll cut everything.
Yeah.
Super fast. But when it comes to cooking and like, I don't taste anything. I can't taste anything. I think it was from a car accident. Like I have like a real poor taste. Oh. Like super poor. I don't even like food.
Yeah, you were telling me you were like, dude, I don't like eating.
I don't even like eating.
It's interesting.
You think that was from back when you were 10?
I know I've been knocked out a lot. So, but I'm assuming that was like probably the first time. I'm like, I can taste things, but they have to be like really powerful for me to taste them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make food unenjoyable, I think. Probably just more of a chore, right?
Yeah. But I know people who like render a lot of concussions don't tend not to taste things.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway.
I know that.
So yeah, we're just running. 2015, we doubled. By the end of 2015, we brought on like we launched a new product. We brought on in like another meal service that we were white labeling for. And I was running like 3 shifts. I was doing 120 hours a week. I was telling you that. I did 120 hours for like 2.5 years, almost 3 years, every week. Damn. Thank God my now wife was just my partner back then. I'd be like, I can only spend half a Saturday with you, and that's all. I'll sleep with you, and I'll spend half a Saturday with you. And that's all I ever did. I took off 3 days during Thanksgiving, like 3 days away from the shop, because I always ran the back end, so I was always on my computer.
Yeah.
And then I would take off 1 week from Christmas, but I was still on my computer the whole time. But anyway. But then, so we doubled that year. I think we ended 2015 with like around 5 million in revenue. 2016, I had about 50 employees. And then I went to Atlanta and built like an East Coast kitchen. So then we could, because we shipped all over the country. So we built that to like lower our shipping costs. So we could just divide the country in half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got to learn how to run like 2 different locations, 1 remote. Real little learning curve right there. The whole thing was learning curve. It was all trial by fire.
You're just rolling with it.
I'm refined by fire. That's the only way I'm built. Yeah. And then in 2017, so I think we ended that year somewhere around like 7, 8. And then 2017 is when I actually left the company. Me and the owner just started seeing a little differently. When he moved, he went and lived in Atlanta. When he had his daughter, he's from Atlanta. His family was there. He moved back there. And he started drinking again. He was sober. He had like a real problem with alcohol before. Then became sober. And then when he moved back there, started drinking again. And him and I just had a lot of disagreements. Mm-hmm. He was my best man at my wedding and took one of my wedding gifts. It was like, I don't smoke, but someone bought me like a box of cigars as a best man gift. Not a best man gift, as like a groom's gift, whatever it's called. And I don't smoke, and he knew that. But he like took them when he left. And I was like, it was the only gift I got.
It's the principle of
right. It was the only gift I got my whole wedding, and he just took it. And I was like, wow. And ever since then, I was like, I gotta leave this company. We also disagreed on a lot of things.
Of course.
He was a very poor leader, and I was like the mediator.
Yeah.
But then once he opened the second kitchen and like
So you're
left,
fixing a lot of his issues and stuff too.
yeah, once he opened the second kitchen and like left the first one, he was just running things really poorly and causing like a lot of issues for my team. Like I'm team oriented, so like they all had to pick up his slack, and I actually think it's just because he was drinking again.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's at 2017, I decided to leave.
Drinking will cause a lot of fucking issues.
Seriously, I'm actually very anti-alcohol. I used to like be real big about it and just like be like, if you drink, you hate your life. Now I don't.
Well, we were talking about like me and stuff like that. I mean, it's if you got that balance though too, man. I mean,
Some people could do it.
yeah.
Hey, I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah, it's either most people are either like they have the balance or they're just like completely opposite, just like balls to the wall with it pretty often. You know what I'm saying? So I know I've tended to be like that in the past, but I can't. It fucks up your goals, man. It fucks up your mindset. Like I can't focus on stuff. Like that's why I have to like limit it as much as possible in order to really get where I want to be. And like you said, I mean, I'm not working 120 hours a week, but I'm putting in solid 80 hours a week with this shit, you know, and it's still a lot, you know, but you know, you get out what you put in. And so, I totally get that. Fortunately, I got someone that also supports me and everything I got going on with it too. So it makes it a lot less stressful.
I think that's key.
I think if you get pressure at home and they can't see the vision, then it's just like, it makes things so difficult and your creativity goes out the window because you're worried about that all the time. Yeah. But having someone that like gets it and is like supportive of it, it helps you really fucking make things happen. Yeah. So it's such an ease of mind. So hell yeah, man. So that being said, because you know we still got to cover a little bit more. Look at Sleepy over there.
Yeah, I just yawned like 2 seconds.
So you were running that business. You ended up leaving.
Yeah,
Like
I left.
So what happened after that?
So I left. So I actually left. My wife was working on a business plan. She wanted to open a cafe. So she was working on that. I was like, cool, I can do all the food stuff. You just got to learn in front of the house, basically, like how to set up the tables, serve, all that stuff. So she was working on that business plan. She also worked for a couple other startups. I started personal training after I left just to like fill in some like money.
Yeah.
And then all the time, even before I quit, we started what we now do is Small Seed Bar. Back then it was called From a Small Seed. She started making them for just for us because we were so busy. Like I would always fast, like all the time. I'd do like one meal a day sometimes. So she made these bars for us. And that was like 3 months before we got married. So this was like February 2017. Started making these bars for us. Started sharing with other people. People were like, oh man, these are really good. And she was like, oh, people like these.
Maybe we're onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after we got married, we're like, oh, when we get back, let's actually see if we can do something with these more. And then we got back and I like helped her set up all of her permits. I let her like operate out of my kitchen on paperwork. And she started selling in farmers markets, which is really cool. We made no money. Like I just funded the whole thing.
Yeah.
But she was going there and like just getting the product out to everybody. And people just really liked it. They were really receptive. And then by the time when I left, I was like, hey, I'll help you do Small Seed. Like we like kind of forsake the restaurant idea, the cafe. And we just went like all in on the farmers markets. And when I left, I was like, hey, I'll help you do these. And then I'll just train on the side so we can make extra money while we keep this going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She got her first wholesale account in September. And I was like, oh, once she got her first wholesale, that's when I was sold. I was like, okay. This
September?
No, wholesale back in 2017.
Okay, 2017. Okay.
Yeah. She got her first wholesale account and I was like, oh, people actually do like these.
Yeah.
We can turn this into a real product.
Nice.
So then I left and we started just growing Small Seed. And then November, after I left, we found out we were pregnant. So I was like, same year we got married, same year we just like quit all normal jobs, went self-employed, pregnant.
Yeah, I'm about to see what that's like.
Full throttle. It's a trip.
I bet, man. Enlighten me, educate me a little bit because you know I'm going into that. You know, like she's looking at a career transition. Obviously, I run my own business, and like it's different than doing it from home now. It's a whole new business ever since I started this.
Yes.
So now my daughter's going to be here in May, and I'm more excited than ever. I mean, this dream fucking come true, and it's with her, and I'm like so stoked. But I'm also like, fuck, I gotta do this and be a father and a husband and all these things. It's definitely overwhelming when you think about it. I know I'm going to crush it, but still, it's like I don't know what to expect, and obviously you don't know what to expect unless you're in it.
Right.
Just like opening business, like. Everybody's going to tell you, oh, you're going to have to do this and that. It's really tough. And then you can mentally tell yourself that all like, yeah, it's going to fucking be hard. But then when you're in it, you're like, oh, whoa, this is not what I expected. You know, like you can tell yourself over and over again until you're in it. That's when you fucking know. Same thing with kids and shit. So yeah, what was it like that whole transition?
Yeah. I made the complete opposite mistake. I thought it was gonna be easy. Holly and I have always had like the best relationship. Never rocky. We never even fought. Like zero, nothing. We've never had a problem between us. So we're like, oh, this is gonna be fine. Like we heard all the horror stories. Like this is gonna be great. Like we're fine. And then we thought like she'd get pregnant and then she'd like bounce back in just like a month or two and like come right back to the business. And my daughter was a terrible sleeper. And like Holly would like pull her into bed. Like we co-slept a little bit and then Holly pulled her in bed and she was just like up all the time. So Holly's sleep deprivation, like just, and my sleep deprivation, because we all shared the same room, was just like awful. And I was still working like, we just moved to Raleigh, growing small seed, and I was doing 18 hours in the kitchen. And then I'd come back and then I'd take my daughter for 3 hours. And then, so my wife could actually sleep.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, you got to take her back. I need to sleep for 3 hours. And we did that for like 3 months.
Did it stress y'all's relationship any?
It was terrible.
Yeah.
The darkest years of our life.
Really?
It was like the first crack we had in our foundation that actually didn't even heal until 2020.
Damn.
Yeah. But I think it's, I think we went into it like thinking it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
We also just moved to a brand new place. We had like no support system. Our company, like we literally like we manufacture all our products. So I had to work. Mm-hmm. Like I was stuck there 18 hours. There was no doing anything else.
Yeah. You don't get leave when your baby's up. You don't get to just take weeks off. You're like, nah, I gotta go back to work tomorrow or we're not going to survive. Yeah.
And then that was the first time neither of us have trained in, 5-6 years. And we both took 3 months off. Damn. So we were just like miserable, angry. Holly got really mad because she felt like I took over her business because it was hers. It's still hers. She's still the primary owner. She owns the most percentage. She thought I just like took it from her, and I'm angry because I'm like, I'm doing everything for you and you're just mad at me.
Yeah.
And it was owning the business and the baby was too much for us. It broke us, literally broke us. And then, I think she finally recovered like 6 months after Opal was born. Like sleep deprivation wise.
Yeah.
And she got better and I stayed bad.
I like the name, by the way.
Thanks.
Where'd Opal come from?
No idea. Holly picked it. Holly picks our kids' names.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. My wife is the boss. I'm the executioner.
Hey, Lydia picked our daughter's name. I love it. So I'm like,
what is it?
Ozzy.
Yep.
Ozzy Joe.
I like it.
Yeah. I love it, man.
That's cool.
Like,
his middle name's Joe?
Yeah, she's gonna be Ozzy. She's gonna have my middle name.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Ozzy Joe Adams.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is cool as fuck, man. It's so fitting for us.
I like it.
And that was her idea, and I'm like, that's cool as shit, man. This is gonna be different than anybody else we know. Like,
that is cool.
How many Ozzies are running around? I'll probably get some kind of like Ozzy Osbourne. I said I was gonna dress her up like Ozzy for Halloween. Fucking get her like a beheaded, like stuffed bat and like put some glasses on her. She's having no idea what she is. And it's just going to be funny watching her walk around. And plus, she's not going to be able to walk that good. And neither can he. So it's just going to be fitting. She's going to be like, oh, yeah. So I don't know. I get all kinds of creative ideas.
Kind of mannerisms. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, man. That's pretty cool, though. So
you said she got better, but you didn't.
Yeah. I stayed like super resentful and bitter. I've realized my trigger is abuse. So if I feel like I'm being abused, I'll destroy everything. I'll destroy everything around me. It's like, and I was destroying our whole relationship. The only thing that was thriving was the business because I was just like pouring all myself into that. But I'm sure it would have been way better if I wasn't being such a miserable bitch. But yeah, I just stayed miserable. Like Holly'd be like, you got to leave. Like, just go to work. Cause I like my energy. I have like dark energy. My wife's like you, super light, super bright. Everyone loves her, like real attractive. My inner energy is.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. You remind me a lot of her. My inner energy is like dark. So like I naturally lean dark and have to think bright. Mm-hmm. But like if I don't consciously think, I expand darkness. Yeah. So I can walk in a room and the lights go down. Some people walk in the room, lights go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I walk in a room, everything goes dim unless I'm conscious. But I was like so miserable. I just wanted my darkness everywhere. So my wife would be like, you got to go. And I'd be like, I'd just go to the kitchen, work all day.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it's like the only place you could really just get your mind off everything and just fucking grind.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
just work.
A lot of people do that. They like work is their escape from everything. They're like, hey, if I just go grind it out, I got to think about shit.
Yeah, and I made my gym like at my home, so I made a home gym, and I could not transition to like my house is usually like my safety place, but I think because like Holly and I were so unstable, I hated it. and it just rocked me.
But it was good for you guys. Like this whole thing, I think like that shit sucked. But probably looking back now, you're like, man, but it was necessary part of your relationship. Like it happened. It fucking sucks. Yeah. But I don't know, y'all. I assume y'all are much better now.
Yeah, now it took a long time.
It took some time.
I think if 2020 didn't happen and we like lost half our business overnight, then we probably would have been divorced for sure.
Damn.
Do you think it was good to lose half the business?
I mean, just depends what angle you want to look at it.
Yeah. But like for your relationship with her?
For my relationship, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then she wanted a second child, and I was fucking terrified.
It forced y'all to come together, 2020, I guess, right? Like actually kind of rebond.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened is I didn't spend any time with my daughter before that. So I didn't realize what I was losing. Yeah. Like I was just going to destroy everything. I was like, cool, I'll destroy my relationship. We can run this company separately. I'll see my daughter like when I can. Cause I didn't spend any time with her from like 0 to, she was born in July of 18. And then we didn't slow down until March, April, May of 2020. Damn. So until she was almost 2, I didn't spend any time with her. And then when 2020 hit and like, once we had the riots in Raleigh, we lost almost. So like 80% of our business was wholesale. The riots destroyed almost all the small businesses in Raleigh. And like, we lost all of our accounts.
Fucking rioters.
I know. Anyway, those guys,
yeah,
I got a word for them.
Yeah.
You guys.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wasn't going to the kitchen. I'd have to go to the kitchen twice a week. And we had like no revenue coming in. So it was just like a different kind of stress. But then I got to spend a lot of time with Opal. And I was like, oh man,
I've been missing out.
I can't destroy my relationship.
Yeah.
So I had to fix it.
Yeah.
So I did. But then she wanted a second child and I was fucking terrified.
Yeah. I guess like I say like, you know, maybe it was good for you. Maybe not necessarily good, but like, you know,
I think everything is good.
It's everything's necessary at least. Right. At the very least, it's necessary. And so I think, you know, it forced you to really appreciate things that maybe had situation been different, you might not have, you know, you could still be like lacking on your relationship with your daughter. Right. Yeah, It really forced you to, I think, realize a lot of different things. And, you know, your mindset's totally different now from it.
For sure. Yeah. I think everything happens in life and then you just prescribe meaning to it later.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
So you get to choose.
Sometimes you don't fucking understand why. You're like, why is this happening to me now? This sucks. But
the best is to not even think about that. Yeah. And just after it goes through, then be like, okay, what did this produce?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And typically all of these situations produce something positive.
If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to. Right. Like but it comes down to choice, right? We talked about choice a bunch. Like if you choose for it to do so. So, no, I mean, I'm glad y'all got through that phase. Thanks. Obviously, you're still surviving.
My life's better now.
Yeah. So, you know, and y'all had moved back to the East Coast by this time. You became parents, started the business, went through the dark years. Now we're at, you know, the last couple years. What have things been like since then? Like, you know, you got through 2020 and all that stress. Where you at now?
So now we have 2 children.
Nice.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yep. I have a boy. And I'm going to get a vasectomy because I do not want any more children. There'll be none of that. I'm going to get sniffity sniffed. No more.
See, we've talked about like 3 or 4.
Oh God, I do not want to be outnumbered.
That's a
good point.
I'm like, babe,
that's just me.
I can just see myself having like 3 girls and be like, oh my God, which I'd be happy as shit. You know, I love my kids no matter what, but yeah.
Let me tell you, I've always loved working. It's always been like my identity.
Yeah.
My children are the only thing that contend for my attention.
Yeah.
Like you were asking what to expect. I was like, nothing has ever made me feel more torn than wanting to build my company and wanting to spend time with my children.
Yeah.
I still struggle with it. It's really tough. I'm like, my company could probably be 3 times the size, but I'm like, I want to spend time with my kids.
Yeah. I mean, because like time's one thing you can't get back, man. And if time flies by and you haven't done that and you're going to look back and be like, you're going to be like, look at this big company and be like, man, I had no relationship with you know, probably the most important thing I produced that carries on past me. Like that's a fucking shitty feeling.
Especially like 0 to 7. I feel like after 7, they start to understand more. Maybe they can like actually be way more helpful. Yeah. But like those are the most impressionable years. Like you got to be there.
Yep.
Yeah. Even for like a long time, I used to tell my wife, I'm like, I think we traded having a second child for our company. Cause I used to be like, we're going to lose our company.
Yeah.
Cause like we're still like bouncing back from 2020. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, having 2 kids has like taken our time even more.
Yeah.
But I'm like, even just that thought, I'm like, wow, I'm literally saying like, I don't want my son because I want my company.
Yeah.
You know, it's so sad. Like, I don't mean it, but like, that's just how I think about it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But that's something I would definitely expect being being tormented.
Of course. I mean, fortunately, like, we live across the street. And,
Yeah, it's so nice.
and like podcasts, I can't like really attend to a child like in this setting, right? But I could set up a schedule and like, on days I'm just doing inventory and shit, I could set up a pin. I could, it's going to be a lot more fucking work on top of work, but at the same time, like I'm still going to be present. It's all about how intentional you are too, though.
Yeah.
Do you really want to put in that time and effort with your children? I don't know. It's something I think about all the time. I've always wanted kids, like I said, and now it's happening. So I'm like, all right, I'm already thinking about how I'm going to make it all work, and I'll fucking see when we get there,
It's also good for them to see you do everything you do here.
Exactly. Exactly, man. I'm working out, have the little pin set up in the gym. Like they're going to just see dad just getting jacked as fuck. And they're like, I want to get jacked.
My kids work out with me.
Yeah. See, I think it's such a healthy habit. I think it's honestly a very healthy environment to raise them in work wise. Like I'm super stoked about it. So, but man, that's pretty wild. So and you said you're still bouncing back now. You got the 2 kids. How old are both your kids?
They're 4 and 1.
4 and 1. Okay.
Yep.
So you just had him.
Yeah. Last year.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So you're saying you're still bouncing back, but things are spinning up, things are getting better. And where are you going?
Where am I going?
Yeah. Where are you going? Like what's next?
Oh, what's next?
What's y'all's relentless pursuit?
Literally. Oh, my personal relentless pursuit is just never settle. Like to continue to break chains, to continue to grow. Yeah. I always want to be wrong with myself.
Yeah.
Like if I want to think something, I just want it to change.
Yeah, I get that, man.
Just constant growth.
Yeah, that is relentless.
For my company, my wife's the visionary. She wants to radically change the food industry.
Yeah.
So like we're all about real food, no preservatives, natural health. I'm like, if you follow our social media, she always do swaps for like, if you use these ingredients or these products, use these ones because of like hormone disruptors and all the chemicals they're putting into your body. So she's here to fuck shit up.
Nice.
And I'm her soldier. So
we'll have to get you both on here one day and just have y'all talk about that shit.
I was just texting her. I was like, Joe's so much like you. You gotta come next time I come.
But he eats a lot of meat. He's a psychopath.
Yeah, you might not like him. My wife's psycho. She just hides it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is what it is, right? But no, I look forward to meeting her and like just learning, getting some knowledge from you guys based on all that y'all have created. I think it's really cool because there's probably a lot of shit I don't know. That she could teach me. So that's really cool, man. Hell yeah. As far, talk about like where y'all want to get with your business. I mean, that's the same thing. Like I'm very much like you is that I just want to keep fucking going. Like people have to often ask me like, where do you want Relentless Pursuit to get? And I'm like, what's the end goal? And I'm like, there's no end goal. Like there's just new goals and milestones. And I just want to keep fucking achieving them. Like there's no end in sight, like one day I'll die. I know that. So we'll just see what all we can fucking make happen until then, so.
Also pivoting. Like I've had plans and like they completely switch.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I could be like, this is what I want to be in 5 years, but I could change my mind tomorrow.
Dude, hell, this shit's changed so much in the past several months. Like I had no plans of getting 2 massage therapists in a fucking recovery room, but that's happening. I know plans for a lot of the shit that's kind of started to morph, but it's just, you got to pivot and work with it. And
I mean, this place is beautiful. So I'm excited to see when next time I come back with the extra 2 rooms and I'm going to bust my cherry open on the cryo freeze and figure that out.
Yeah, dude, we're going to get you in the ice bath, man. Dude, have you ever done it before?
Nope.
Oh man, life changing. I'm going to be in there every fucking morning.
Really?
Like,
every morning you're going to do it?
Every morning, dude. Like
How
30
long?
minutes at a time, probably.
30 minutes?
Yeah, man. Dude,
that's
there's so many benefits to it. And
I heard it raises testosterone a lot.
Yeah, man, and it's good for your nervous system and all kinds of stuff. So it helps with like all your like recovery and just like even illness and stuff like that. It's because it forces the breathing exercises. I don't know if you looked into Wim Hof.
Yeah, I know Wim Hof. Yeah,
huge on that shit. I need to practice it more. It's just like setting the time aside and prioritizing it, but it all falls in line, man. There's so many benefits, and what I love about these things is it's not $1 billion business, right? Like a lot of these practices you can do on your own, so it's not as known. Because people aren't making money off of this. Because you can just work on your breathing on your own. But
I think most people like to be told what to do, though.
Yeah, of course.
Could be $1 billion business. Maybe no one's just done it yet. Just saying. Imagine, like, how they do giant yoga retreats? You could do yoga on your own. You don't need a teacher.
That's a good point.
But you get like 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 people in a room and you're all breathing the same rhythm. Imagine the power from that,
Yeah, I mean, people monetize meditation.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing.
Like...
monetize breathing.
And like the way people meditate, like clinically or like through an app is not my form. I don't meditate that way at all. I have a completely different approach. It's not clinical, but it's what works for me. So yeah, man, I think maybe we should monetize some breathing and
Monetize oxygen. Fuck
They're gonna do it eventually. Might as well beat them to it.
yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Well, where are we at on time? We're up there, ain't we?
Yeah, we're over 2 hours now.
All right, cool. Well, fuck.
Hey, round 2 next time.
You know what the thing is? We covered your story, dude.
I know. I appreciate it.
We got through like from child. He said this is the first time he's actually told his story,
Start to finish.
like start to finish. You know, we've had a number of guests that actually, that were
That's the
stoked to
case
be on
for,
here to do that.
That's cool.
And I love it, man, because like I've said it before, this is a legacy thing. Like you're gonna die one day, and like your grandchildren and great grandchildren, they're gonna be able to YouTube, shoot podcasts and hear your story. And like to me, I think that's really freaking neat because a lot of things would just get lost in time.
That's
but like
so weird to think about. Imagine hearing a story from 100 years ago. We'd be like,
yeah, dude. That's why podcasts kind of changed the game. It's literally, this is an outlet to get your message out there and have it. If there's value to it, like it could carry on for hundreds of years if it wants to. If people are receptive to it and they're still sharing it, I just think it's really neat. So, yeah, man. Honestly, super stoked that you came on. Your story is amazing. I mean, you went through hell, dude. Especially the first 20 something years of your life, but it's really cool because at first you kind of are a product of your environment. I think you see that in a lot of people, but you switched it around, man. And like, I love to see people and hear from people that have overcome such adversity and so much trial and then just turn their life to the better. I mean, you're running a business with your wife together. I mean, to me, I think that's a beautiful thing. Y'all got a great relationship. You got 2 beautiful kids and you're just still going forward and like seeing where you began and where you are now, man, I'm fascinated by it and I fucking love you for it. So I appreciate you getting on here and sharing that, dude.
thank you so much.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But I guess it's time to cut out. Yeah. Got anything else you want to say?
Nope. If you want to know more about my story or suffer from similar things, it's just, I'm at Shane Mackinnon everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can just find me.
Yeah. You share a lot of your stuff.
Oh, and I'll do a code for you guys. RP10.
RP10.
If you want to try our bars.
RP10 at Small Seed. What is it?
Smallseedbar.com.
Smallseedbar.com. RP10. Go grab some fucking bars. If you want one, come by here. I might have one to give you, but I don't know. I eat them. I like them.
Somebody come by here, just like, hey, you got one of those bars on you?
I'm like, hell yeah, getting the message out there. Yeah, show some support. Check them out. And looking forward to next time, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Until next time.